What is good, everyone? Hi, how are you guys doing? Uh, yeah, more Higurashi. It's time for what I assume is gonna be probably heading towards the climax of this chapter. And we're probably gonna see some. What the hell? What was that? Thank you for following Ibito. I have no idea why the fuck it just triggered some random alert I never set up. Was that Twitch? That was weird. Okay. Let me. Huh? How did that even show up on my stream? Okay. Um. Yeah. Yeah. What I was gonna say is we're probably gonna see some dead people today, so that's gonna be fun. Thank you for following and hello. Also hi Jay and hi Blue. Blue. Okay. Hi Blue. I think I haven't seen you since Demon Souls. How have you been doing? So excited to watch Cage. He's such a good protagonist. Shut up, bro. This is not nice. Welcome to Hinamizawa. We've been here for a while already, but we still got a way to go. Hey, wait. I don't think we're gonna finish chapter 3 today, and even if we did, there's still like 5 others to go. So, yeah. Did you ever hear my name? What do you mean? I don't think I understand your question. Hey, Dink. How are you, man? All right. Since Umine, I don't get it. I'm sorry. Playing Elden Ring right now. Have fun. We're not playing Elden Ring today. We're going to Murder Town, or actually more like Depression Town today, because there hasn't really been any murder in Chapter 3 yet, except for the beginning. Now that I think about it, it started out so strong. Umineko. I know. Yeah, I know. I know that, but I haven't played Umineko, so I don't know. Is your name from Umineko? I'm sorry, man. I don't get it. I'm sorry. I've only barely played through a bit of Higurashi, so it's still some time for Umineko. We're gonna get to that though at some point. All right, what the hell did I just skip? Wait, okay. Anyways, we're gonna start playing the game now. And for those that haven't seen a Higurashi stream by me yet, we have the voices turned off because having Japanese voices on is weird when streaming a game. So I'm voicing all the characters. It's weird, but it's also fun. So I hope you can deal with some second stage cringe. What happened last time, by the way? I think I think the whole Keiichi was at Sadako's house scene was the last thing we've seen, right? He's seen how she's getting treated, and then we went over to school. So this is probably the next day. You know what's going on? You okay? Many of my classmates were playing freely in the schoolyard. A few of them had just run out of the school building after putting on their shoes and tapping their toes to the ground. It looked like they had just finished eating lunch. Oh wait, did he go to school Oh right, wait, he showed up at Sadako's house because he was late to school, and he took the wrong way, right? If I had to hear Keiichi's actual voice, my sanity would go down. From a time manipulating standpoint, I guess I succeeded.
Oh, my Bada-san, are you okay?
A few girls noticed me and came running over. It was only natural they were worried. You'd think if someone wasn't there in the morning, they'd be out the rest of the day. Well, I'm just late for school. Don't worry about it. Anyway, what about Sadako? Did she come today? Wait, so it's not the same day. Oh no, wait. We met the photographer and creepy girl at the shrine, and they told us about how someone is murdering people. Yeah, yeah. What episode is it? 3. I think I tagged it right on Twitch. I hope so. It's the Sadako one. The girls exchanged glances. I saw a thin shadow fall over their faces and knew the answer without needing to hear them reply. Sadako was absent today, too. When all was said and done, after being out 3 days, she'd only come back for 1. And now she was out again. Who knew if she would come tomorrow?
Yeah, but the teacher said she got a phone call from Sadako-chan. She said she had a cold. Gia-sensei said everyone should make sure to rinse their mouths out really well.
Wait a minute, Chie-sensei? That's a little too thick-headed, don't you think? You're a teacher, aren't you? Why can't you be more sensitive and catch on to the fact that your pupil is sending out an SOS? But even if she did, there was nothing we could hope for. The most she could do was a home visitation. Don't do that. That's gonna make things worse. If suddenly the teacher shows up, that's not a good idea. My God, it's been 9 months. Been 9 months since I've been in a stream on this channel. Welcome back. I'm glad to see you around. She didn't have any right to take Sadako from her uncle into safety. No matter the result, it would end up just like the public agencies, with a wait-and-see attitude. It would just piss Sadako's uncle off, and her suffering would only grow deeper. Then, wasn't she saying she had a cold? Wasn't saying she had a cold the best option? She's right. Be careful not to catch a cold. Got it? You can go now. There's still plenty of time left in lunch break. The girls excitedly scattered into the schoolyard.
Ow, Kaichi-kun!
Rena was yelling out the classroom window, waving her hand. A moment later, Mion and Rika-chan poked their heads out too.
We were very worried that even you would be absent today. Thank goodness. You don't seem sick. You look pretty okay.
I felt a little uncomfortable with her saying that I didn't look sick, but I didn't care much. What happened? Overslept? Well, late is late. Think if I said I was late because of a train accident, she'd let it slide? You overslept? Mion was being a bit persistent. Was she gonna put on her club president cap and scold me for being late? Well, maybe she didn't have it in for me, so I briefly stated that she was right.
There's still more bento. Everyone eat up. Without Kaichi-kun here, we couldn't have any fun.
Sadako is still absent, huh? Even Rena, feigning cheerfulness, couldn't stand to hear that, and her face darkened.
She called this morning. Apparently, she said her cold came back and she was staying home again. She said it might go on for a while too. She must be sad, so we were all talking about going to visit.
Oh. Wait, but Rika-chan probably knows what's going on, right? She's the smart one. Is that a good idea? I don't know. What are you saying, Rika-chan? Not pleased with Rika-chan wearing a wide smile as though it was a happy occasion, I threw cold water on her. Damn, Keiichi. You just splashed the kid. Don't do that. Not in class. What the fuck is wrong with this kid? We know best of all, she doesn't have a cold, don't we? Don't ever tell a fib like that again, even as a joke. I'll get mad next time. Damn. He really is a Nini, huh? Rika-chan furrowed her brow, looked down, and mumbled an apology.
It's not just you, Kaichi-kun. It's hard for everyone.
I know I'm not the only one worrying, but none of us can do anything either, can we?
That's true, but
I got the feeling I would cause another fight if this exchange went on. At least he got that. So I apologize for it. Sorry. I'm sorry. So forget about what I just said. It's hard for everyone, right? It must be. It was at least clear, however, that I was the only one who had worried so much about rescuing her. Yeah, because you're a psychopath. At the very least, everyone else probably got the normal amount of sleep last night. Probably had good dreams too. They definitely hadn't stayed up all night thinking so desperately. I know it might not be what you want to hear right after you get to school, but you were late today, Kei-chan. Did it have anything to do with Sadako being absent? Huh? Mion, what are you talking about? Sometimes you act kind of foolhardy, Kei-chan. When both you and her were absent this morning, we seriously thought you might have kidnapped her and hidden her somewhere. They got it. They actually got it. Easy for you to say. If I could have, I'd have done that last night. This guy is gone. This this dude. I'm sorry, but this dude ain't this. Nah. People really. I know I repeat myself, but people are saying they started liking Sadako from this chapter. But the only thing this chapter does to me is I hate Keiichi. He's such a sicko. None of them had really thought about how difficult that clear as day solution was. I think I gotta change his voice a bit if he's being like that. I was up thinking all night, thinking until the night was brightening, and then I concluded that I couldn't do anything of the sort. Don't be dumb. I couldn't hide someone. You're right. I'm sorry. I apologize if I upset you. Don't worry about it. Anyway, let's eat some food. I'm starving. I took my bento box out of my bag. Everyone moved to make a spot for me to sit. Imagine if this was all one big prank by some. I never even thought about that. That is the best. What if she actually pranks them? I completely forgot that she's that she's the prankster. That is such a good idea, bro. If this turns out to be real, ah, holy shit, bro. If she was actually pranking them, I'm gonna do an Elden Ring stream in the Sadako voice. Oh, my Barakun. Did you just get here? And just as I was about to stick my chopsticks in, GH-sensei came along. Yeah. Sorry for being late. I overslept. What the heck? Even the teacher was giving me that strange look. Even she thought he abducted Sadako. When you're finished eating, could you and the president come to the teacher's lounge? There's something I want to talk about. Probably about Sadako, I thought. Sensei left it at that and went back out into the hallway. Eating lunch can wait. Let's go, Mion. Yeah, right. Mion and I exchanged looks, nodded to each other, and got up. It's probably about Sadako-chan. No doubt about it. They were saying she had a cold, but everyone in class knew the truth. I didn't think that wouldn't have reached the teacher's ears by now. I kept playing dumb, so I think she gave up asking me. Revealing the truth to the teacher would only worsen the situation. Was that why she hadn't said anything? Or was it because she was Sadako's friend and knew that she was trying to endure the trial of her uncle's abuse in order to get her brother to come home? What should we do? Maybe we should use this chance to get a collective opinion. What do you want to do, Rika-chan? Meep. Sadako's closest and best friend was Rika-chan. However much I pretended to be her Nini, it didn't come close to the amount of time they'd spent together. So I felt like her opinion should be held in the highest regard. You didn't make it sound like that 5 minutes ago when you splashed her with water for disagreeing with you. I know why Sadako is enduring her uncle's torture. Everyone looked startled and turned to me. Back then, whenever Sadako was abused, she probably cried and hid behind her brother. But Sadako thinks that, in the end, that's why her brother ran away.
Who did you hear that from?
The coach, I bet. Luna, what? Okay, I'm gonna let the cat out. I will never not like this theme. I think it's such a somber. I love it. It's so cool. You don't often hear pure piano stuff in games. It's usually accompanied by other instruments. So this is very nice. I nodded quietly. Sadako believes her brother will come back if she can just withstand the abuse. Maybe that's why she's trying to push through. The plin plin plon. I haven't seen that meme in a while. That assumption has nothing to do with Satoshi coming back. It hurts to say that about Sadako, but it's the truth. Everyone hung their heads. Everyone was thinking the same thing. Sadako probably won't be happy no matter who helps her. She wants to withstand everything with her own strength. But is it really right to respect that? I don't think it is. Even if Sadako hates us for a while, I think there will come a time when we need to save her against her will. And I think that time might be now. I told them all about what I saw and how I felt when I went to Sadako's house yesterday.
Kate-kun, so you think we should tell someone?
Of course, only after we're sure that reporting it to a public agency will guarantee her safety. Without being sure of that, it could just get more dangerous for her instead. It's a difficult problem. You think we can get a definitive answer, a definite promise out of the teacher? I had no confidence, but we had to try. Meanwhile, Rika-chan had her hand raised for a while, as if asking for an opportunity to speak. That is so randomly polite. Sure is nice driving my 2020 Chevy Silverado. Don't watch YouTube while you're driving.
I will leave it to Keiichi.
Bad idea. What?
Is that okay, Rika-chan? Keiichi is thinking about Sadako more than anybody else here. If Keiichi thinks that we need to tell someone, then I have no complaints.
Thanks. Mion, Rena, are you okay with that? Mion seemed to hesitate, not knowing if she should agree. But when she saw Rena's firm nod, she made up her mind and did the same. Okay, let's go, Mion. Just ask the invisible principal for help. He can get away with anything. He's probably on vacation, though. Shame. Right. You know, last time we seen this background, I commented on the curry stuff, right? Because it's funny. But I just noticed that she has some weird magical Aladdin lamp on her desk lamp. Like, what the fuck? What is that doing there? This- Ask the genie a wish? What am I gonna wish for though? Okay, now I'm going to not text in the chat for the rest of the stream probably. That's alright, man. I'm still very glad you're here. Also drive safe, please, if you're actually driving right now. We didn't see the principal anywhere. So yeah, he's invisible, that's why. That was just a fact statement. The schedule on the blackboard under the principal's name said training, going straight home. Dude, is he jacked? I always thought the principal was some old guy with barely any hair left and fat. But is he jacked? Is he maybe actually gonna do something in the course of the story at some point and just gonna punch somebody's lights out? That'd be so good. Our principal's sense of justice was too strong. Sadako's problems wouldn't be solved with something so vague. Maybe it was a stroke of luck that he wasn't here. When the teacher saw Mion and I come in, she closed her curry bento, saving the rest for later. Sit over there, please. She told us to take a seat in the chairs directly in front of the principal's seat. I hadn't sat in this chair since doing the paperwork for transferring in. The two of us sat there uncomfortably before the teacher walked over carrying a notebook and a ballpoint pen and sat in front of us. My Barakon, you were absent this morning. Did something happen? I'm sorry, I overslept. Really? I have no reason to lie. She narrowed her eyes at me in suspicion. Now I was sure of it. She wanted to talk about Sadako. In any case, I think you two already know, but your friend Hojo-san has been away frequently lately. No shit, teacher. Neither Mion nor I had anything to say in response, but the teacher proceeded, not minding. Would you happen to know anything? There are some people in class spreading bad rumors. Mion looked down and remained silent, as though she were being lectured. She sent me a quick glance. Everyone had made up their minds. They'd be leaving things to me. Mion. I know this is a teacher thing, but it's so weird when female characters are addressed as kun, which is a male thing usually. Mion-kun, are you Maibara-kun? I won't get mad or anything, okay? If you know something, I just want you to tell me. Sensei, can we ask you a question first? She must not have anticipated that response. She looked surprised. I don't know what rumors are going around about Sadako in class, but if those rumors happen to be true, what would you do, Sensei? Well, what would I do? If it's true, then I can't leave it alone. Can't leave what alone exactly? What would you do? Sensei's eyebrows shut up. Maybe I said it like I was trying to pick a fight. My Barakun, I'm being serious here. So am I. I'm also being completely serious right now. Please answer me. If it were true, what wouldn't you leave alone? Sensei took a few breaths, then began to speak slowly. First, I'd have to visit Hojo-san's house to confirm the situation. Her uncle might get mad and drive you away, though. Well, okay. Let's say you did meet with Sadako and her uncle. Then what? Then I'd ask whether it was true. Once I got the facts, I'd go from there. Please stop talking so vaguely. What exactly would you do? Even despite my tone being so provocative, Chie-san bit back her emotions and listened calmly. I thought then that she was a good teacher. Chie-sensei really did have her students' best interest at heart. But she didn't have the power or the authority to save Sadako. If she let her sense of justice run away with her, the situation could get more complex. Sensei folded her arms, and for a few moments she closed her eyes as though mentally concentrating. And when they opened again,
There was a strictness in her eyes I'd never seen before. There's a law called the Child Welfare Law. It clearly states that abuse against children will not be allowed no matter who it is. So it would seem. Then what? I'd contact the Okinomiya Child Consultation Center. You said just now that I would be turned away, didn't you? Child welfare officers can bring the police with them if the situation demands. They will not submit to intimidation. How many days would it take after you could contact the social worker and submit the paperwork for her to be safe? It will be the same day. Their job is to guarantee the immediate safety of children. I know that. That's if they decide there's an urgent need. If they didn't, then they'd do the same as you. They'd go from there. They just wait and see, right? They just watch. It would make Sadako's uncle's mood sour, and Sadako would be stuck with him there. Kakai-chan, that's going a little too far. I'm not lying, am I? Last year or the year before, whatever. That's exactly what happened when the child welfare people came in, isn't it? And what happened then? You and Sensei would know about it a lot better than I would. I'd said too much. I didn't need Mion to tell me that. I was talking crazy and itching for a fight. I was supposed to be telling her about the situation only after I was sure we could save Sadako, but I basically told her everything right from the start. Chie-sensei looked at the clock, stood up, and picked up the phone at the principal's seat. Hello. Put me through to extension 3455, please. Is she calling the police? What is 3455? Is this okay, Kei-chan? Is this really okay? It was too late. The die had been cast. Now we could only pray. Oh, thank you for answering my call. I'm Chie, a licensed teacher at the Hinamizawa branch school. Would Director Watanabe happen to be in the guardian's office? Yes, that's right. Something urgent came up, so I'd like to contact the principal as soon as I can. Yes, thank you. Please tell him immediately. Yes, thank you. The teacher put down the phone and tilted her head back and took a breath like I always did. Oh, is she also psycho? I'll ask the two of you again. Are the rumors going around class really true? Yes. Yesterday I went to Sadako's house and I saw for myself just how bad it really is. You can leave the rest to me. I'll definitely do something for Sadako-chan. Something? Please stop saying such ambitious things. Not something. We need to save her. If that telephone... Okay. If they end up deciding to wait and see again, how do you plan on taking responsibility? Well, I was yelling, the phone rang. Chie-sensei snatched the receiver up first. Hello. Oh, I apologize for interrupting your training. Wait, oh, is this not about physical training? It's about teacher stuff. Okay, I get it. Yes, actually, it's about the issue with Sadako Hojo-san. Yes. Sensei waved us away, telling us we could leave now. Mion went to leave, but I held my ground. I had a responsibility to make sure she stopped saying such vague, ambiguous things. If it didn't look like she was going to say anything substantial, then I'd tell them the truth, even if I had to steal the phone from her. Yes. No, I haven't contacted them yet. Yes. I haven't confirmed it, but it seems pretty bad from what the children are saying. It's not just pretty bad. Do something about it right now. If you're going to report it, then I don't care who you tell. But I swear, they end up just waiting and watching. I will never forgive you. I yelled angrily at Sensei and the principal on the other hand. I wanted to somehow, some way, convey to them just how dangerous her situation was right now. I understand that. I will tell them as much. Mion-kun, please take Maebara-kun back to the classroom. I don't think she ever regretted something as much as bringing him into this conversation. He's talking about other people's sense of justice, while he is the biggest fucking anime character I've ever seen. But the situation doesn't call for it. And that's what makes it so dumb.
Because he can't do anything himself, right? But he expects others to, even though that he knows they're in the same situation. But he just pushes the responsibility onto others. Everything comes back to being a pampered kid for Keiichi, right? Yes, ma'am. Let's go, Kei-chan. We should leave this to the teachers now. You better promise. He's about to grab a knife till the very last moment. I glared at Sensei. Chie-sensei was feeling pressured. The likes of me. Idiot. This isn't the time to feel pressured. Now's the time when you give me a firm nod to reassure me. Even so, we've already left things in her hands. At this point, we really can't do anything but pray. Bang! Mion shut the door to the teacher's lounge. I see you, Chie-sensei. Non-committal resource. I hate you. He's gonna go on a rampage, let's be real. Keiichi gonna murder someone. I actually expect that. Like, I think he's gonna actually snap. Or rather, he already has, and he just needs a weapon. he almost completely went off on Mion. Now he went off on the teacher. Yeah. Yeah, this dude is gone. Die of fate had been cast. According to a public agency, which we'd kept being warned, could instead result in something far worse for Sadako. We didn't have the evidence first. And just like that, had I failed, had I let my emotions get the better of me in that moment, maybe I should have stayed silent and left everything to Mion since she had been relatively calm. I remembered the punishment game, where we had to badmouth Curry, and how me saying anything would have made it worse, and Sadako told us to leave the talking to her. Wait, was that foreshadowing? Dude, if that was actually meant as foreshadowing, that is good writing, let's be real. Maybe they shouldn't have maybe it's a bit on the nose now that they pretty much say it. But in the same game, we're in a situation where we're alone with Chie-sensei and another one of our classmates, and we have the option to give them the reins over the conversation. And one time we do, and it goes well, and one time we don't, and we fuck shit up. So yeah, that's Keiichi. He fucks shit up. Maybe it was the same thing here. I was impulsive, so maybe I should have just shut up and looked at the floor. But it was too late to lament it. The die I had thrown wouldn't be coming back into my hands. All we could do was pray for something good to happen.
Keiichi-kun, you did everything you could, so leave it to the teachers now, okay?
Everything I could? I really gave it everything I had. If I had really struggled, I would have dragged Sadako out of her home last night and hidden her in some abandoned house. I didn't. So that means I didn't do everything I could.
Stop thinking about it, alright? You're being a little too persistent, Keiichi-kun. At this rate, you'll collapse.
Just leave me alone. I left her with those words and stared lazily up at the ceiling. He's turning so emo. This is turning into a Persona game. I wondered if I'd really got Chie-sensei to understand. Would the public agency intervene and solve everything within the day? Would they acknowledge the abuse? Guarantee her safety? After lunch break, our afternoon classes were mostly self-study.
The teacher came back to the classroom occasionally, but then the phone in the lounge would ring and she'd have a long conversation with the caller. Everyone in class got the feeling they knew what those phone calls were about. Sensei came trotting back from the classroom. I'm really sorry for all the phone calls recently. Let's call it a day. President, please lead the class. Everybody stand up. It looked to me like Sensei had been wearing a dark expression ever since after lunch break. It wasn't a very relieving expression. It wouldn't be. Even if Sensei 100% understood the situation and passionately explained it to the other person, at the end, the Child Consultation Center, as a public agency, would be the ones to decide whether to get her to safety. Sensei understood that as well as us, and that's why she looked so unreliable right now. Keiichi gonna turn into an edgy vigilante? Didn't he already do that like 10 hours ago? I'm just expecting him to snap. Like, I'm currently expecting this story to go like, we're gonna skip to the next day. Sadako comes into school and she's completely bashed up. Like, things didn't go well. Her uncle took it out on her, and it's very obvious. And that's when Keiichi snaps. And he's gonna grab some sort of weapon, and he's gonna go on a rampage. He's gonna kill the uncle, and then he's gonna try to flee, but people are gonna try to gonna try to stop him. And then he's gonna get killed or die because of something. I don't know. But I don't expect Keiichi to survive, like, at all. Kai-chan, let's go home. I don't think anyone feels like having the club today. Mi-chan, it's no fun if someone's not here. Rena was right. It was no fun for us if someone was missing. If the teacher's expression had shown more promise, then maybe we could have gone home more comfortably. But I couldn't let myself feel relieved. I couldn't be naive and tell myself all I can do is pray now that the dice have been cast. Why does he say it like that? This is the third time since this scene started that he's going like, the dice has been cast. Just in case they didn't get her to safety and decided to wait and see again, I'd need to take further measures. We've asked the people who could do something official already. Then there was one more place that was worth asking for help. Why does nobody ask Oishi? He knows there's something going on, right? She might laugh it off. Or I might be right. And I could be endangering my own life. But I try. Oh, Mion, is it okay if I stop by your place today? Oh, he's gonna try and meet the Yakuza boss. Are we gonna meet her grandma? You've got a lot of manga, right? I'm gonna borrow a bunch of them. Huh? Sure, I guess. There was an ominous meaning behind my words, so Mion realized what I really meant right away. I wanted to talk about something alone. That's what I meant. Mi-chan, Keiichi, let's go home. Rena already had her shoes on and was waving to us from the schoolyard. Mion's house was gigantic in every way imaginable. The house itself was a vaguely old-fashioned, traditional Japanese house, but the yard, I guess, or their plot of land, was enormous. It easily convinced me that they really were major landowners, with Hinamizawa under their thumb. Mion brought me through the guest room, and a servant brought us some tea. Wow, you really are rich, huh? You even got housekeepers? Grandma and I are the only ones who live here. I wouldn't be able to do everything myself. The servant left, telling us it was 5 o'clock, then withdrew with soft footsteps. Wait, was the servant here when she went mad? Did she kill the servant? We have people come in to take care of Grandma and clean 2 or 3 times a week. They come in rotations of 3 or 4, so there's someone here almost every day. Only until evening, though. Oh, and if we're having a party or something where we need more help, we call up different people. If you have the money to hire all these people, then just take Sadako in. I glared at her as I thought that, and Mion seemed to catch on immediately. Oh, sorry. It's fine. I know it's not a money problem. Just to be clear, my family may be rich, but it's not money that I can use freely for myself, okay? I don't want you to misunderstand that. Kind of looked like I was bullying her. Mion had been apologizing to me a lot lately. Was Mion the sort of person who would do that this much? Maybe it's just that I've been looking so grim lately. So, what's up? You had something to talk about, right? I have something pretty serious to discuss, Mion. This will be sudden, and you might be surprised, but I want you to hear me out. Is he gonna tell her that he's planning to murder the uncle? What? Oh, I'll give you a way out first. Even if what I say is true, you don't need to admit it. You're allowed to play dumb. But I want you to listen until the end. Oh, he's gonna ask her about the murders. You know what? This is actually a very interesting plot development. Because even if Keiichi is an idiot in this chapter, this is the most ballsy he's been. So, by not being a little bitch and being afraid of everything, he might actually get something done this time. I have something to say to the next leader of what's still the most important of the 3 families of Onigafuchi village, Mion Sonozaki. At first, Mion looked like she had no idea what I was saying, but at hearing the whole sentence and putting it together, she reacted. Where did you hear that? It doesn't really matter. I definitely couldn't tell her who told me. Takano-san, you told me not to, but please forgive me. This was why I asked you about it after all. I was surprised just that you'd heard of Onigafuchi village, Kei-chan. But you seem to know a lot of things, both true and false. About me, too. Yeah, true and false. I really might just have the wrong impression here, but I'm okay with that, so listen. And if it really is true, I don't know what you're getting at, Kei-chan, but let me say this beforehand. You've got a big misunderstanding, so if it were possible, I wouldn't want to hear what you're about to say. Because if you said it, I can't do anything to help you. Still, if talking about it will lighten your burden even a little, I'll listen. I'm only just going to listen. Nothing more will happen. Are you okay with that? Yeah. Mion seemed to know what kind of thing I'd been talking about. She warned me that doing so would be fruitless. That much was obvious. If what I was going to say was true, then the Sonozaki family would be the masterminds behind the string of freak deaths that had been occurring every year in Hinamizawa. You know that stuff about Oyashiro-sama's curse, right? Mion nodded a little. No one knows what it is or why it happens. Even if each incident is solved, the string of deaths and accidents as a whole is still a mystery. But there's one thing connecting them all, and that's how the targets are always enemies of the village. Seems like it. Mion spoke as if it didn't relate to her. That was fine. She didn't have to admit it. For now, I just wanted her to stay quiet and listen to me. The day after tomorrow. It's Watanagashi, isn't it? Has the sacrifice for this year's curse been decided already? Mion didn't answer. Her expression remained the same too. Like she said, she was just quietly listening. Sorry. The promise was that you'd just listen, so it's weird for me to ask a question, huh? Mion shrugged. It's okay. Don't worry. I'll listen. Mion nodded. Mion nodded a little. No one knows what it is or why it happens. Even if each incident is solved, the string of deaths and accidents as a whole is still a mystery. But there's one thing connecting them all, and that's how the targets are always enemies of the village. Seems like it.
Mian gave me a look she'd never given me before. A far-away look. A sympathetic one. She didn't nod. She just smiled faintly and listened to me. If this year's curse isn't going to be on Sadako's uncle, then please change it to him. I mean, last year it was her aunt, right? It's in the right order, so it wouldn't be weird. You're right, it seems like there's an order. I mean, after her aunt died to the curse last year, he abandoned Sadako and fled into the town for a whole year. Why wouldn't a guy like that definitely be next on Yashiro-sama's list? Shouldn't be any issue with choosing him for this year. I see. If he were to die from the curse this year, no one would see anything unusual about it. I heard that Yashiro-sama's curse is, well, no matter how I looked at it, I wasn't sure whether I should continue. No matter how I tried, the words didn't come out. The string of freak deaths in Hinamizawa, also called Oyashiro-sama's curse, you're saying they're incidents perpetrated by the village, carried out by the three families at the Sonozaki's instructions. Is that it? I, I wasn't. I don't care one bit whether you have anything to do with it. I'm just saying, if if you have any way of communicating with whoever decides the targets of the curse, then I just want you to tell them to choose Sadako's uncle, please. Everything you've been saying has been terrible. If the freak death incidents in Hinamizawa were carried out by the will of the Sonozaki family, that would mean the main culprit would be me, wouldn't it? I would have chosen the target of the curse, given the instructions, killed many people, and gotten rid of others. You're calling me a murderer, Kei-chan. I didn't say that. Didn't you listen to me? I don't care whether you're the one behind the murders or not. I just don't. Even if you were the culprit, it doesn't change the fact that you're my friend. It doesn't matter at all. The police were chasing you. I'd come to help. I'd make you an alibi and even help you escape because we're friends and comrades, aren't we? Mion looked surprised for a while. She was dumbfounded. Now you're declaring yourself complicit? Kei-chan, that's pretty bold of you. Come on, don't interrupt. Sadako's uncle, choose him for... Stop right there, Kei-chan. I want to start on dinner soon, so I'd like to leave things at this. Mion! I then realized that my cheeks were wet with tears. They slid down my chin and fell, drip-drop, to the tatami mat. It's like I said at the start. You've got a big misunderstanding. Oyashiro-sama's curse is just that. Even if there were people behind those incidents, they don't have anything to do with the Sonozaki family or me either. Right. I understand that. It's just... It was touching to hear such a desperate player, Kei-chan. But that was all it was. Even if I wanted to help, I can't. You understand that too, right? Yeah. But now, I know how you feel so well it hurts. If I really were, like you said, the one controlling the three families and choosing the sacrifices each year, I'd probably grant your wish. Mion! But the reality is different. I'm just Mion Sonozaki. My family may be the subject of all sorts of bad rumors about controlling Hinamizawa from the shadows. We have nothing to do with the freak death incidents. We may have been a little extreme during the damn war, but that's all. We would never do something so insane as to kill people. Let's not say such sad things. Right now, at least, I don't care. Why can't you just be nice and lie to me? Maybe because you're actually calling her a murderer. I agree Keiichi is unbearable this chapter, but seems to actually be doing something. Hey Ruben, how are you doing? Thank you for dropping by. Kai-chan, you're free to believe what you like. If I lie to you now,
You'd be convinced Sadako would be freed the night after tomorrow, and you'd be able to shed much of your burden. However, reality is harsh. Sadako's uncle will survive beyond that day. He'd still be alive next week and the week after that. You need to prepare yourself for that. I don't want you coming to me the day after what's in Nagashi and demanding to know why he wasn't killed. Mion. Mion stood up slowly and closed the sliding door to keep out the wind that had grown chilly. Was it Mio-san? Did she give you all those ideas? She really likes to misunderstand things about Hinamizawa. Well, we can let her have her fun. But I don't really want her influencing you, Kei-chan. Jeez, this is why outsiders are no good. Takano-san has nothing to do with it. Right. Don't worry. Even though I know she told you about it, Kei-chan, nothing's gonna happen. It's not like Mio-san will be chosen for this year's cars. Besides, we don't even know for sure if the curse will happen this year. Maybe it was all just a pile of unfortunate coincidences. Thanks for listening. If you aren't connected to the serial deaths at all, and that must have been an uncomfortable conversation. I'll apologize for it. I see. You'll apologize for it. Oh, I thought she was gonna do something creepy. Mion said she didn't have much time, but she still brought me to the gate. She said she had a meeting or something today about Sundays with the Nagashi festival, so there would be a lot of people from the town council and the festival committee coming. Despite her day being so busy, she still listened to what I had to say. If there's a God in heaven, then he probably understands how strongly you feel. Yeah, I'm really sorry for being so weird today. You can pretend like this discussion never happened if you want. Okay. I'll forget about it. Okay. See you tomorrow. Bye bye. Something weird happened there. This year. She's saying it's not like Mio-san will be chosen for this year's curse. I think she was lying. I mean, we know. The thing is, dude, I would be saying, yeah, okay, she's definitely lying because we saw her kill people in chapter 2 and shit like that, but I don't think the chapters are that much connected. I don't think that they all start out like I think they are different realities of Hinamizawa. They aren't just the same starting point for every chapter. I think they are different worlds, so to speak. So it wouldn't be weird for one chapter to have a different Sonozaki family than another. You get what I'm saying? So I don't think she was lying, but like I don't think she's carrying out the murders, but I think she knows what the truth behind those murders is. I had really only spent a short time with Mion. Talking to her made me think. It was clear that what Takano-san had told me at least wasn't a complete fabrication. If Mion was really unconnected to the incidents, then she probably wouldn't have listened to me so quietly. She heard me out until I was done without making any quips, and I wanted to think that was proof. I did kind of feel like I was grasping at straws. Of course, thinking back on it, it was a terrible thing to discuss. I mean, I went to my friend's house, called her a serial murderer, and then told her to kill Sadako's uncle. I was the only one talking that whole time. Mion quietly listened to everything I had to say like a pastor listening to a confession. She could have gotten angry partway through, told me off, and go wash my face in miso soup and come back later. But she didn't. What was that proof that Mion's family, the Sonozaki, were the masterminds? Or was she just listening because she felt sorry for me going kind of crazy? I didn't know which it was. But
It was the one effort I could make at the moment. It was another form of insurance. Should worst come to worst, and the public agency decided to wait and see. It was a completely useless resistance, literally grasping at straws. Sensei said that if she reported it to the child consultation center, they'd have to respond on the same day. They'd already be in the middle of responding to it now. If Sadako came to school tomorrow morning all energetic, then everything would be just needless fear. Why couldn't tomorrow come faster? That's a weird transition. Was he waiting outside the whole time? That night was unusually hot and humid, and I couldn't get to sleep. I said all that to Sensei. They couldn't possibly decide to wait and see again this year. Sadako, what was it like for her tonight? Had she tasted the end of her nightmare, enjoying a night of liberation? I actually put my hands together and prayed into my futon. Just a second. This little bitch has been screaming at me for the last few minutes because she wants to go outside and have some food, right? Are you hungry? Okay. I'm gonna take that chance and go pee because I really need to. So I'll just put this on break for a few minutes, like 1 or 2 minutes. I'll be right back, okay? Hello, I'm back. I'm sorry. It's been very hot today, and and I'm drinking a lot, and my old man bladder just cannot bear it. So yeah, PP time. Okay, maybe I should have ended like one click later. Or he's skipping straight to school. Oh no. Hi, Rena.
Good morning, Kate-kun.
Morning.
Thank goodness. I thought you overslept today, too. Your mom said you'd gone on ahead yesterday and then you weren't at school. I was worried that you had gotten heat stroke halfway there.
Yeah, I'm very sorry for all the worry I caused you yesterday.
Hi, good morning. Mei-chan, good morning. Are you alright? You look really tired.
Oh, right. Wasn't there a big business meeting with all the people on the town council yesterday?
They only called it that. It was more like a party. We have the festival every year, right? We wouldn't have any
annoying meetings at this point.
Are you going to help out with the festival this afternoon then?
Yep. I have to do a meet and greet with all sorts of people in Grandma's place. Besides, they already started setting up for the festival. Our morning conversation was lighthearted as usual. It looked like Mion had thankfully forgotten about how I barged into her house yesterday with that crazy talk. The more I think back on it, I felt like I'd really said something terrible to her. I was really thoughtless, and it wouldn't have been weird if she'd yelled at me. It was highly possible Takano-san had exaggerated her story. To think that our comrade and friend Mion, the young leader of the Sonozakis, one of the three families effectively controlling Hinamizawa, was pulling the strings behind the serial death incidents was a little unbelievable. But if there was even a 1% chance that it was true, then what I said yesterday to Mion might have been a success. Yes, it was no more than 1 in 100, but that little bit of effort might have brought the chances of saving Sadako up by even a tiny bit. At least I'd made that effort. After yesterday ended, I was sure I'd done everything I possibly could. If there was something else I could do, it was probably just to clap my hands and pray that Sadako's uncle would be killed by the curse. I hope Sadako makes it today.
Me too. Sensei is doing things for her, right? I'm sure it'll be fine.
My aunt is a welfare agent in the Hinamizawa district. I gave her a call last night.
I didn't know your aunt was a welfare officer. What happened? Did you tell her about Sadako-chan?
Yep. Chie-sensei called the child consultation center right after we talked to her. A child welfare officer apparently visited before the night was over. My aunt said that they were going to pay visits at regular intervals from now on, and there it is. Okay. Look. I know that being an official in a situation like this is very, very hard, and this is not a simple situation. But I think the worst thing a child welfare thingy could do is do regular intervals. If you let them know beforehand that you're coming, they just clean up their shit when they know you're coming. You need to be there unannounced and catch them off guard. Hey there, Joe. How are you doing, man? Shion was here for a bit, yeah, but not currently. Enough with the dumb little stuff. I want to know what happened to Sadako. Did they get her safe? My aunt wasn't informed about it. I was supposed to keep this a secret anyway. Her telling me was a big breach of ethics in the first place. Damn, that makes me feel even worse.
Let's get to school.
Did, please? Who? Sadako? Right. Discussing this more would just make us feel worse. It was far quicker to go to school and see if Sadako was safe or not. The three of us nodded and ran off. Was Sadako safe? What measures had the child consultation center taken? I didn't care what. As long as we could go back to our peaceful life with Sadako today, it didn't matter to me. At the shoe racks at the entrance, Rena took a peek in Sadako's shoe cubby.
Sadako's shoes are here. They're here.
Kai-chan, Sadako came. Thank goodness. We don't know if anything happened just because she came to school. We can't know anything until we see her face. We trotted towards this classroom. She did. No? Oh god, Joe. I'm so sorry that Sadako's alive. The classroom was lively as it usually was in the morning. Sadako! Where are you?
Meep. She's right here. It's too early in the morning to be so loud. Would you please keep it down a bit?
This game sucks. True. There's gotta be something that happened, right? It can't just be all happy. They didn't actually help. He's dreaming. This is a dream! Didn't he go to sleep? He's probably dreaming.
Sadako-chan, are you okay?
All of our friends crowded around Sadako excitedly. A probation officer came, right? How did it go?
Who was it that called them? I swear it was quite a mess, you know.
It was the teacher. You were absent for so long, of course she was worried. Sadako said, I told you I'm fine under her breath. She was still trying to overcome all the suffering on her own.
It was a big bother to both me and my uncle. That person just barged on in on us suddenly, jeez. Everyone was worried about you, Sadako. Don't say it was a bother.
Ah, jeez. Anyway, what happened?
Nothing happened. My cold got better, so I came back to school, that's all. I can't take much time off from now on because then you'll all worry about me.
What was Sadako saying?
What happened to, well, your uncle? Oh, he admitted there were some misunderstandings and we both apologized.
Tug. Rika-chan grabbed the back of my collar and pulled me away. What is it, Rika-chan? Rika-chan silently dragged me all the way into the hallway. Rika-chan, what did that mean?
Sadako said nothing was happening and chased them away.
That idiot! But why? No, somewhere in my mind, I thought it might turn out like this. Sadako didn't ask for anyone's help. She didn't hide behind anyone. She was trying to ride out this pain. She wanted to show Satoshi proof that if he came back to them, she wouldn't need to hide behind him anymore. But Coach said probation officers can bring her to safety in an emergency even if it's against her wishes. However much Sadako denies the abuse, it's a fact. Chie-sensei finally came. Can she slap him already? Her expression was far from cheerful. Yes, you're right, my Barakan. If the child welfare officer determines that it's an emergency, they have the right to immediately take them to safety, regardless of the affected party's intent. Then why? Why is Sadako intent being respected so much? It's weird. Why don't they put her into safety? Well, after looking into it from many angles, that's what the Okinomiya Child Consultation Center determined. What the hell is that? Sensei, didn't you say it was going to be alright, since you definitely saved her? What's the meaning of this? This doesn't make any sense. Answer me, damn it!
Keiichi, this is actually the third time someone has reported Sadako's child abuse. It happened twice in the past, too.
Heard a sign. Sensei tried to stop her, but Rika-chan went on speaking anyway. Twice before? I heard they decided to wait and see after reporting it the winter before last, but it happened before then too?
Sadako's father, who died, wasn't her real father.
Oh shit. She went through two of these guys? This kid can't be saved. She's beyond help. She thinks this is normal. She thinks she deserves that shit. What? Rika-chan, that's... What? I'm stunned at the sudden revelation. I had no idea what Rika-chan wanted to tell me, but it seemed really important, so I couldn't get a word in either.
Sadako's mother remarried. She brought Sadako and Satoshi with her, so they weren't related by blood to their father.
Satoshi was a good kid, one who listened politely to what adults told him. He was immediately welcomed by their new father and was loved. But Sadako was different. Oh no. Was she being a little trashy kid like usual, and her new dad was like, what the fuck is this kid? I'm gonna slap some sense into her. She was rebellious. She told lies. She played pranks. Her stepfather didn't like her at all. What? So, what do you mean?
Even before she was given to their uncle and his wife, Sadako didn't have a very good relationship with her family.
Of course, her stepfather didn't have any malicious intent at the start. At first, he must have worked hard to get his new daughter to accept him.
But the young Sadako didn't make any effort at all towards that end. She was distant towards her stepfather and never opened her heart to him, even a little. She just got on his nerves all the time with seemingly forced lies and pranks. Her father's discipline and punishment must have been loving at first, of course, but that too faded quickly. I don't know, because I wasn't in Hinamizawa at the time, but I learned this on the phone yesterday. What story did you hear, Sensei? That Sadako-chan wanted to trick her parents, especially her stepfather, so she made up a false story and phoned the child consultation center herself. Okay. They're making the situation worse and worse. With everything that comes to light, they're making it harder and harder to help Sadako. This is a... Look. She effectively pulled a prank on the child consultation center. So why the fuck would they not think, if something goes on in that house all the time, this is the story of the boy who cried wolf. You guys know that one, right? This is the same thing. She kept making up issues, and at some point people just didn't believe her anymore. And now she's in an actual shitty situation, but people are having a hard time believing her. She made up a story about hurting herself? Sadako made a fake phone call to try and get rid of the father she hated. Child welfare officers rushed there and heard the story. Her father genuinely apologized for a few times when he had gone too far and agreed to let the child welfare center give him coaching. Related agencies looked into it quite a bit. They determined that Sadako-chan and her stepfather's hearts not being quite matched up was the cause of the incident. But they found another problem above that with Sadako-chan. A problem with Sadako? What was it? Sadako's mother. There were a few times where she had lived with de facto husbands, though those relationships didn't result in marriage. From a young age, Sadako had been forced to call at least 2 or 3 people her father. At some point, Sadako's pranks escalated. She would spill food on purpose, turn over her plate, and even throw it. She would break the windows in the neighborhood and shoplift candy. She would put thumbtacks everywhere and set other traps to seriously hurt people. That kid is fucked up. Dude. Even without the current problems, this kid has issues. Wow, okay. I don't think life is going to turn out well for her no matter what happens. If we don't travel back in time and babysit her whole life. Not in the way she did now, just to get laughs. She was also fond of telling lies that would be found out right away, and people got mad at her every time. She never, ever changed her behavior. Please don't think Sadako-chan was a problem child. Sadako-chan was young. Those were acts of self-defense that she took so those unknown men wouldn't take her mother from her. In regards to Sadako's problematic behavior, child psychology experts from public institutions indicated her actions were to draw her mother's attention to herself. Well, that's not hard to see. They acknowledged that she had a form of harmful emotional trauma and declared that she needed counseling and therapy from professionals. They didn't know whether that therapy had healed the wounds in her heart. Sadako-chan purposefully hurt herself and told them that she was being abused by her stepfather in an attempt to chase him out. Oh, this is dark. I mean, the thing is, shit like that happens, right? This is not made up. This happens in real life more often than we'd like to admit. But yeah, she kind of brought this whole situation on herself, didn't she?
Maybe the uncle just hates her because she fucked with him too much. But in the end, her stepfather did abuse her, right? No. All of the abuse had been made up by Sadako-chan. Her stepfather, of course, may have scolded her in a somewhat emotional way, but it was nothing out of the ordinary. Sadako had lied to chase away her stepfather, and they saw through her right away and found out that Sadako had issues. Oh, could it be that's why the winter before last they decided to wait and see? Yes. The Child Consultation Center had all their past records, so they needed to act carefully in case Sadako was lying. What the hell? So what? Sadako might be telling a lie, so they needed to be careful. So, how does that mean they just end up waiting and seeing? It was the girl who cried wolf. Yeah, so about that, Rikishi really honed in a lot of his work as a social worker in this art. Wait, he did social work? Poor dude. Like that is a hard ass job on your psyche. That fable about telling a lie once, making others unwilling to believe you later. That's bullshit. The past has nothing to do with this, does it? Only what's really happening right now is important. Sadako is being abused by her uncle. Why is something that happened in the past getting in the way of helping her now? Neither Sensei nor Rika-chan had anything to say to that. Anyway, yesterday, a probation officer visited to carefully determine what was going on. And Sadako dealt with them, put on the best, strongest smile she could manage, and denied the abuse. Of course, she was probably being threatened to keep quiet about it by her uncle. Sadako was trying to outlast everything without asking for help. Sadako wanted to wait for Satoshi to come back home, and she outright denied the truth of the abuse. What an idiot! What? You're not really enduring it? Do you really think pretending like this will actually bring Satoshi back? Just stop it already. Satoshi, he abandoned you, and the fact that he hasn't shown up to save you now is proof, isn't it? So just stop it. Please, stop being weird and pretend to endure it. Forget everything we just said. Understand? If you tell anyone else, your teacher will be very mad with you. Jay-sensei gave me a warning, then left to go back to the teacher's lounge. Keiichi, please don't think Sadako is a pathetic, pitiful girl. She's living life. I know that. She's our irreplaceable friend. Sadako is still trying her best. Let's watch over her a little longer. The person from the consultation center said they'd visit periodically from now on. If something terrible happens, they'll help her right away. Yeah, he was a civil servant before writing Higurashi, and it really shows it in his stories. It really shows in how he writes the psychology of his characters. That's interesting. You know, the thing is, I'd like to, at some point in the future, once I've gone through all of the games on stream, I kind of want to play them by myself another time. Because I feel like, because I'm streaming this and voicing everything and trying to talk to you guys and stuff, I might miss some of the deeper stuff that's hidden in the story. But on the other hand, that'll take a shit ton of time, so I'm not sure if I should do that. I might just read up on everything. I don't know. Yeah, but only after it happens. Any more than that would have sounded like I was picking a fight, so I firmly swallowed my next words and went back to the classroom. Mion and Rena were talking to Sadako like they always did. It was a silly conversation, a humorous, even fun one, like it was any old day. If Sadako really said she could still endure it, then maybe I should do as Rika-chan said and watch over her. maybe whatever help I will offer will just go unwanted. Thank you for understanding that finally, Keiichi. Like, look, I get it. You want to help people that are in a shitty situation if they're your friends, right? I get that. But even for the child welfare people whose job it is to help, it's hard to help because there's so many factors to this. As an outsider, you can't really do much other than be there for them. Yeah, definitely maybe some time much later in the future after finishing the series. Reading it alone really makes a difference in catching the finer details. Yeah, because you can take your time to really read it in your own pace and aren't distracted. I'm not saying that streaming this game was a bad idea. I'm having fun, and I hope you guys are having fun as well. But I think it's easier, like, this is like reading a book, right? If you're reading a book, it's easier to understand and grasp everything when you just read it than when you, like, read it out loud to a study group or something.
Okay, why don't we all have lunch? Me. It's been a while since it's been all 5 of us. This really is how it has to be. Here. Come on, you too, Kei-chan. Bring your desk over. Sadako brought her own desk over as well, grinning broadly. Even knowing nothing had been resolved, this exchange was pleasant and made me remember how fun it used to be. And it's also the one thing that helps her most right now. I can't have Rika making a bento for me forever. I don't mind. I have fun making your bento. Rika-chan's such a good girl. Having such a good friend must be so reassuring. I put the big steak in mine and the burned one in Sadako's. So if it was just Sadako, it would be so sad. So very, very sad. Nipa. I take it back. Well, she's Rika-chan after all. She's the devil. I still think she is Yashiro-sama. Damn, seeing them putting on the facade of normalcy hurts. Yes, this also could be helpful for Sadako. A sad place for her. A safe place for her. Yeah, that's it. Like, you gotta look at it from this perspective. Sure, she's probably suffering at home. But one thing the child welfare thing did was allow her to go back to school. I don't think she would be here today if the child stuff didn't happen the last night. And this is like her refuge, right? So I think they did help, even if they don't notice it right away. Hey, come on, look! I've got omelet rice today. Mushrooms and stuff are delicious. Delicious how? I say it every time, but your craftsmanship is splendid. You could become a wife whenever and not have a problem. A wife. Eating. A wife. No. Rena, no. How? Using the word wife is totally forbidden around Rena. Please don't say it again. I'll think about what I've done. A little. By the way, what's in your lunch, Mion? It looks different again today. We're all waiting in anticipation. It's a rich assortment of side dishes left over from what my uncle brought last night. The stew looks really great, huh? The color of the radish is still really good, right? Wow, it looks delicious. Stew tastes best when it's left overnight. Nope. This looks like it would be really good. And so, there'll be none left for Sadako. I'll eat it all and tell you what I think, so just be quiet and watch. Whoa, what was that? Hand over my portion too. Elbow, punch, headbutt. I'll use my knees too. What the fuck? Don't come so close. I mean, not seem like much, but yes, being there for her can make a massive difference.
back. I was just watching other videos. Welcome back, Blue.
Ah, at close range like this, my advantage is unwavering.
Get that shit out of my face.
Kate-san, the daikon in your portion tastes really good.
Damn it. Coming right for me from the start and using a combo attack? How humiliating. This little exchange, how long had it been? It looked like they'd ended up going with the wait-and-see approach, but maybe her uncle had realized he'd gone a little too far and would dial it back now. If her treatment improved a little, would that be a good thing? Sadako was grinning wider than I'd ever seen as she chomped down on her mouthful of daikon she'd plundered from me. Did it really taste that good? What the fuck? What? Why is this? Oh my god! And the happy music is still going on. What the shit is? Okay. Sadako was somewhat cute like that. I don't think this is cute at all. I do not like that look. Me when there's no banana. What's with this siege? This seems out of place. Why is this here? What the fuck? Is the game bugging out? Did this trigger too early or something? Dude, holy shit, this is creepy. Oh, wait. I think I get it. Are they so much... Are they trying... Oh, look. I think this is what Sadako actually looks like right now. Like, she's completely depressed. But they're trying so hard to wash over it, to play it over. That it's not showing that for most of the time for Keiichi because he tries to ignore it. We're still seeing the situation from Keiichi's perspective, right? So maybe this is just supposed to show us that the real Sadako is flickering through a bit to him, but he's trying to ignore it. At least be Mion or Rena making that look, not Sadako. If she starts smiling like that, I'm turning off the game. Like, if she's the one going on a rampage, at least don't show it. That's why it hurts. I'm hoping it's just a bug. Sadako was somewhat cute like that. And just as I'd done many times, I grabbed her head and started petting it. Catch. Smack. Flip-flop. Clatter. Clatter. Huh?
Sadako-chan?
It was so sudden that for a moment I didn't know what had happened. The back of my hand was stinging. Wait, did she actually stab him? I went to pet Sadako's head and then she hit my hand. What's wrong, Sadako? Sadako was scratching at her head as though a pimple or something had appeared on it and become itchy. It was so sudden and so unprovoked that I didn't understand what had happened. What's wrong, Sadako? At some point, her body had been covered in a thin layer of sweat, and her breathing had turned ragged. Oh, she can't keep up the facade anymore. Like, him touching her head probably triggered some sort of trauma, and now she's having a breakdown. I don't want to voice that. When I pet her head, did she not like it? Was that what it meant? Hey, did you dislike being petted? Once again, slowly, I held out the palm of my hand and brought it close to Sadako's eye. Why are you trying again? This is... Okay, this is dumb. I do not like the sound of that, neither do I, man. Also, hi, Ink. Don't try it again. Dude, seriously. Like, have some tact. This feels like Keiichi is so sensationalist. He just thinks like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? The instant the palm of my hand touched her head, There was a shock, like static electricity, and Sadako began to howl. I don't want to voice that, man. Okay. Dear neighbors, I'm very sorry for what's about to happen. Oh my god. Thud. Slam. She grabbed my arm in both hands, and as if flinging off a snake trying to cling to her, as if trying to throw away something dirty, she threw it violently. It happened too suddenly for me to react. I hit the desk behind me, and both it and I fell to the floor. The classroom felt deathly silent. I mean, yeah, it's if everybody's there right now, this is gonna turn into a story. Listening to the actual voice acting is even harder to get through. I don't want to do that either. As Sadako bellowed, it sounded like she was in the throes of death, and she unsteadily backed away. Then she threw up the food she'd just eaten. She vomited it all back up. Splish splat. The sound of Sadako's vomit hitting the floor rang through the classroom. Are you okay, Sadako? You seem sick. No shit, Keiichi. I reached out a hand and she swatted it away with all her might, with such extreme strength that I fell onto the floor again. Sadako put both hands on her head as though protecting it, groaned some more, and took a few steps back. And then she began swinging both hands around. Students in nearby seats were forced to evacuate. She grabbed anything within reach, bento boxes, chairs, threw them, tossed them, and flung them about. I kind of don't want to see this and see this at the same time in the anime. Ryukishi must have seen this quite a bit in his career. True. Like this is an actual mental breakdown kind of situation. Wait, stop it, Sadako. What's wrong with you? Well, what could be wrong with her, huh? She screamed out as if Mion's words had caused her physical pain. No one spoke a word to her. All the students were withdrawing behind us, leaving Sadako alone in the corner of the classroom. Around her, there were desks and chairs all over the floor. Bento lay scattered. It was terrible. All I could hear was Sadako's ragged breaths and the voices of the cicadas. Uh, 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 I'm, I'm sorry. The strings of tension loosened around Sadako, and maybe she suddenly grew scared of her own actions because she started trembling and gave a word of apology. But nobody knew just who that apology was directed towards. So, for now, I decided to answer as everyone's representative. The anime scene didn't feel as impactful, but probably because it's old, right? I can't imagine the animation being super in depth. No, it's fine. Are you all right? I, I, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Our words didn't match each other at all. Sadako hugged her shoulders and back. Back she went. Bang! She ran into the locker with the cleaning supplies in it. Even that made her give a little yelp. The impact caused the bucket atop the floor to fall, making a loud sound, and that scared Sadako most of all. She almost jumped out of her skin, grabbing a bunch of the curtain in her hands. Nobody spoke to her. They could only look, not even remembering to blink. Uh, uh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Sadako, what on earth? I stood up, took a step away from everyone, and approached Sadako. What happened? I said, I don't know. You're wrong. Please stop, please forgive me. Just calm down. Sadako, do you know who I am?
No more, I hate this, I hate this! Eh. Every time I took a step forward, she grasped the curtains more tightly and cried out, Sadako, it's me. It's Keiichi. Don't you recognize me? I would never, ever hurt you. No! Ah! Ah! Come on, calm down. It's all right. I'm your friend. Help me! Help me! I don't want to be scared. It feels bad. No, I don't. Ah! Suddenly, my shoulders were grabbed and I was dragged backward. It was Rena. Well, and she's here to save the day again. Can't you come on, read the room? Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like, dude, you gotta notice that you're not helping. I know you think you're in a position where you could help her, but you're not. It's an awkwardness and being so frozen in time, not being able to think. This is a shitty situation for real. Sorry, Keiichi-kun. You get a little farther back. After pulling me back, she ran towards Sadako in my place. It's okay, Sadako-chan. There's nothing to be scared of. Please, don't worry. No more of that. Nini, help me. Nini, help me. Ah. As she gripped the curtains and kept calling for Nini, she continued to wail about being forgiven for something, to be safe from something. What is this? Mion gnashed her teeth and groaned, and there were tears falling from her firmly closed eyes. The hell? What is this? Didn't this all come to an end yesterday? Weren't we supposed to go back to our old lives? Mion! Crash. It was a crazy sound. Rena had taken the cleaning supply locker and kicked it down to the ground. Everyone stood surprised at Rena's unexpected act of brutality. After that, Rena embraced the brawling Sadako from behind and started crying with her, stifled. Rena, what's wrong? Sorry, Keiichi-kun. Be quiet for a minute. What is it now? What happened? What did Sadako tell you? What did you hear? Can you shut the fuck up? She just told you to be quiet, man. Shut the hell up! I told you to shut your mouth, asshole! Holy shit. Oh my god. Rena's raw, hostile emotion hit me like a brick. So what did she tell him? Tell her? Like, is Sadako saying something that makes Keiichi look bad? Like, what the hell is going on? Think about it. Sadako is acting deathly afraid of someone, most likely her uncle, a man older than her. Yeah, Keiichi, you're kind of being projected on. It's not your fault, but still, you're making shit worse. Just leave, really. It was no more than a momentary howl of emotion for Rena, but it was more than that for me. She had shown me what was behind all that emotion, what was in her heart. Sadako-chan. No more. Wah. Forgive us. We couldn't do anything for you. Forgive us. Okay, I'm not gonna voice the crying anymore. This is just... I'm gonna get the police called on me for that. Nini! I'm sorry. Oh. Forgive us for being unable to do anything. Rena's words made me feel as though the blood vessels in the back of my head were suddenly all turning to ash. My vision grew distant, blurred with gray, and the world lost its color. I thought we could save Sadako. But though I knew it'd be the sooner the better, I thought there was no time limit for doing that. I never even dreamed that we could be too late. I've been making a huge mistake. I thought Sadako could be hurt, but never that she'd break. It was such a huge mistake. People, they break. Thinking that they don't is absolutely absurd. We we needed to save Sadako. We needed to save her before she broke. That fatal lapse in awareness had brought this on. Whose fault was it? That went without saying. Mine, no ours. We all took on the duty of saving Sadako, but we were negligent to the point of laziness. In that sense, this was the inevitable result. I don't agree with that, by the way. Like they did everything they could, really. More than that, actually. Like, putting aside if it made it worse or not, they did try to help their best. So I wouldn't say it's their fault. That's why Keiichi shouldn't be in the room. Rena is right there telling him to get back. True. I think Keiichi is just projecting his own sense of hopelessness. I mean, yeah, I get that. Like, he's been telling himself all the time that he can save her as long as he just does it, right? And then he does something and it makes everything worse. Of course, that will leave you dejected. Even if this didn't happen today and it happened tomorrow or the day after or next week, we would have just sat around doing nothing until that day. So this was the obvious result. I slumped down to my knees just as Mion and Rika-chan had done. And I too closed my eyes tight and couldn't stop myself from sobbing. What is all the noise about? Wait, what's happened? The teacher came and her face screwed up at the terrible spectacle before her. The instant she realized the teacher was here, Sadako went through another complete change. She wiped her face with the curtains and, like nothing happened, smiled. Haojo-san, what on earth is going on here? I just got into a little squabble with Rena-san is all. We went a little crazy over our lunches, right? Rena didn't nod in reply, but then, since Sadako wished it, she nodded without strength. The rest of the class couldn't keep up with her extreme changes. We all just stared in a daze. Oh, it was just a little horseplay. I scared everyone out of their wits. Sadako would probably sweep the whole thing under the rug. For what? Her heart is torn to pieces, so what else? You wanted your Nini to help, didn't you? But unfortunately for you, Satoshi doesn't ever intend on coming back. It's never that easy. He won't just conveniently show up and save you. Cue Satoshi entering the school doors. The mask is back on. The bipolar changes really throws you off. I think it makes sense. Because she lets down her guard in front of her friends, right? But as soon as she notices someone that could destroy her, if we can even call it a plan, like a teacher or someone else, like an adult that has some sort of pull over things, she needs to get her shit together. This is darker than I expected. I've never watched the anime. True. Like, this is, from a psychological standpoint, by far the darkest one so far. It's never that easy. He won't just conveniently show up and save you, so you don't have to wait for him anymore. You can cry, beg for help, and you can run away. What the fuck is that? Whoa. What is that supposed to be? Like, a war cry? I think she's most offensive around adult figures, yeah. And at her most offensive, she looks happy. That is what I was saying. Her most offensive isn't when she's crying that everybody is supposed to go away or something. It's when she has her shit together and is able to put up a mask. We We can't do anything, Mion suddenly said. She spoke then, those few words that had tormented me countless times. Those words were a spell, and when I heard them, my whole body suddenly regained its calm. My emotions all slipped away like they'd never been there, like a wave departing. The fuck? Why are we playing Mega Man? The hell? And then the world's color flipped inside out. Oh, is she... Is now the moment that he goes crazy? I want to listen to the music for a minute. Ooh, I like this. This goes kind of hard. We haven't had music like that at all in this game. Like, we've had some cool soundtracks, but this one is different. Holy. Alright, okay. Moving on. Fire beat, true. My field of view expanded. My head grew remarkably cold, and I felt like my mind's volume had grown even wider than the classroom we were in. At the time, my soul was doubtlessly no longer in the small, petty vessel of my head, floating in the air, a little bit above it. It was a mysterious feeling of release. I broke free of the cramped confines of my skull and stretched out my roots in all directions, as far as I wanted to. It was a strange feeling, and one I'd never felt ever before. An odd sense of exhilaration. My sharpened senses caused me to transcend. My mind was sharper than a knife's edge, and I immediately decided that spending the time to let myself be crushed with grief would be an absolute waste. I erased all the garbage information from my brain. I expelled the pointless emotions presenting obstacles to action. Mion, you curse it all you want. Curse our powerlessness as much as you want. Huh? If I could have taken back what had happened by crying about it, I'd have cried all day. The fact was, this was how things had turned out. I couldn't take back what had happened. The top priority then would be to prevent the situation from worsening further and to sever the chains of misfortune. Until today, I've been looking at things so narrow-mindedly, I could scarcely believe it. To save Sadako, the only thing to do was to save Sadako, and that's the only thing I thought about. I didn't allow myself to realize the most basic, direct, and certain way of removing the source of Sadako's unhappiness by killing the uncle himself. He's gonna rush over and just kill the... No, actually I realized it yesterday. But as for the means, I'd relied on some stupid curse from some dumb deity. I never considered carrying the task out myself. I would obliterate Sadako's uncle. I like how it paused for a second there before it spelled out and obliterate. There were plenty of ways to do it. This was a task that held infinite methods. Ironically, the method of saving Sadako required mostly money, but the method of killing that man pretty much took no money at all. I could kill him with the least amount of investment. The least amount of money suited him. It was only the weight of his life. I kept eliminating needless, worthless information from my head, replenishing it with only the knowledge I'd need to achieve my goal. I used every cell in my brain to think about how I'd kill him. The way I'd kill him didn't matter. I would allow any method, from whatever time and whatever country, as long as it ended in a quick and certain death. If I were to have an additional condition, it would be not to get caught. Removing him was an act designed to return the peaceful times we had with Sadako. If I was arrested in exchange for the removal, then we might as well have killed each other. With only him gone, we go back to our normal lives. That was my supreme objective, my ultimate goal. Kill him. Definitely. but definitely don't leave evidence either. Two alternatives at odds with one another. The condition of not leaving a trace back to me automatically narrowed the number of murder methods. No witnesses was an absolute must. Fortunately, given the right time in Hinamizawa, there would be nobody around. Oh shit, everything is in this color. Is this gonna stay like that? I mentally reconstructed the land around Sadako's house. The number of pedestrians different at different times. The movement algorithm of the neighbors. Keiichi is YouTubing. Would I lure him out or charge at him? What would my weapon be? When and where would I carry this out? Where? It needed to be somewhere I wouldn't leave a trace. When? It needed to be as soon as possible for Sadako's safety without wasting even a millisecond. This is absurd. Completely absurd. When I thought about it this way, it struck me how easy the act of killing was. If I could leave evidence, if I was just going to kill him, anyone could easily turn into a murderer, but our reason prevented that. It told us doing so would get us arrested for sure. In the end, being arrested by the police was the final thing preventing people from committing homicide. Absurd. You went all the way out into the very middle of the ocean, you wouldn't leave any trace at all. Anyone would drop those they hated into the depths if they knew that. It was all too easy to simply remove him. I could leave class right now, grab a metal baseball bat or something from the schoolyard, go to his house and attack him. Estimated time would be 25 minutes. If I wanted us to kill each other, it wouldn't even be minutes. I could do it in 1,500 seconds. I knew just how much his continued existence depended on me. He was nothing. I could expel him from this world within just 15,000 seconds. After making up my mind. 1,500. He said it. 1,500 seconds. What is that supposed to mean? Is that like a meme in the community? It would be so funny to see Dinkler come back now. And him hearing this theme out of nowhere. Okay, so can I just say something real quick? Keiichi's kind of being dumb here, isn't he? Because he's absolutely not thinking about anything other than him being the insanely good murderer. What if the uncle defends himself? What if the uncle doesn't die? What if the uncle runs away? What if the uncle calls help? What if he's not alone? What if the uncle runs away or gets away and then hurts Sadako because of that? That would be the worst case scenario, right? What if the uncle what if he does get caught? Like, what if he can't manage to not get caught? That's what the police are for, right? There are so many things he's not thinking about. And I can only think this is going to go down south real fast. Nothing, yes, it's a meme. This is a memorable moment in line in the series. Okay. Been dumb this whole chapter. True. From when I decided what to do, he only had 1,500 seconds. Actually, if I ran at full speed to his house, that number would go down even further. He was alive. He was still part of this world at this very moment, having torn Sadako's body and mind to shreds. Why? Because I was letting him live. I was permitting him to live, so he was alive. If I rescinded that permission, he would be evacuating this mortal coil within 1,500 seconds. I think I'd let you live, to breathe even 1,500 more seconds of air. I'm taking that permission back right here, right now. You'd better thank me for letting you live until today. However, I actually need more than 1,500 seconds. I'm not just gonna end you. Getting back our own lives is far more important. It's only you I'll be cleanly cutting out of this world. They won't find it. I'll forget that I dirtied my hands of the likes of you as naturally as I brush my teeth before bed. So to do that,
I'll make a special exception for you and give you more than 1,500 seconds. I'll give you special permission to keep on living as you have until I can construct the perfect plan for your murder. Wait, Keiichi, you can't let that time go to waste. Yeah, I know. I'll kill him quickly. I'll remove him with certainty. I won't even waste much time to perfect that plan. Think back. Tomorrow is Watanagashi, isn't it? Last year, on the night of the Watanagashi, her aunt died. Her head was busted open by some deviant, and her brain splattered everywhere. That's it. He's someone who deserves to be given death on the night of Watanagashi. Hey, you Yashiro-sama, you call yourself a guardian, but you didn't protect Sadako. Bursting Sadako's family for the damn stuff is your own business. But now you've made Sadako unhappy when she didn't have anything to do with it. I, Keiichi Maebara, hereby denounce you, the guardian deity of Hinamizawa, a failure. We don't need you. Go back to the deepest, darkest part of your shrine this year. Besides, you just rushed and killed both her aunts and her uncle last year. None of this would have ever happened. The curse this year, it's not on you. I'll be the one deciding. It won't be the three families controlling the serial deaths behind the scenes. No, not some big people who I can't tell if they're buffoons or not. This time, I'll be the one to deliver divine judgment. So don't get in my way. Just watch. Stay quiet and watch. I'll obliterate him. I'll wipe him off the face of the earth. I will stump out his very existence. Go away, disappear, and die! I'll tear your heart apart just like you did to Sadako. I'll have your blood as payment. Okay, he went crazy there. And Rena is just standing next to him like, what the fuck? Bro, you're looking kind of weird there. What if murdering him doesn't change anything? I mean, Sadako would just think it's her fault, right? I don't think it would help her mentally. Sure, she wouldn't be in a problematic household, hopefully, anymore, but she'd still be, like, mentally scarred for life. Simplifying it to a point that murder will solve the problem is such a childish coping mechanism for the despair of being powerless. He's not thinking straight right now. True. But I think that's normal for Keiichi. Hi, Broken Duck. How are you doing? Pretty sure that's why that downward spiral of desperately seeking any unrealistic solution was just as important. I mean, he's been doing this basically the whole time, right? He's been grasping at straws, trying to find some way that allows him to think he's gonna save her. And I think he needs to do that because he himself is about to crack mentally, and he probably had it in his subconscious all the time that he could just kill the uncle, but he didn't want to do it because, well, obviously. And now he's kind of out of options, so he's just embracing the psychopath that has been building all the time.
Kate-kun, are you alright?
Rena, Mion, and Rika-chan were looking after me. Had I fallen to the floor?
You surprised us. You suddenly fell down. Were you having a nightmare? You were moaning.
Shut it. Quit squeaking at me like that. Fuck you, Keiichi. Seriously, what the fuck? Okay, I gotta stand up for a bit. Uh, I'm raising my desk up a bit because I gotta stretch after sitting for 2 hours. I'm getting old. Most interesting and helpful thing Keiichi has done. No, I still think that Keiichi in chapter 2 was the best one so far. But this is, come on, man, don't do that to poor girl. She just went through a trauma herself. One of her best friends just broke down in school. And she was the one who basically shared her pain, right? Just search out what Keiichi looks like, and does he think he is talking with a haircut like that? Hey, he just looks like an anime character. It's not his fault. That was mean. My friends gave a start and backed away. What? Rena and the others, they exchanged glances, unsure of what to say, and stood confused for a few moments.
What, what was that your voice, Cage-kun?
Of course it was. Oh, did he? He's now a man. I'm sorry for voicing him wrong. I got you, bro. Keiichi, I got you. Rena gulped firmly and opened her mouth.
For a second, Cage-kun, your eyes were really scary.
Oh, I would love to see this from her perspective. I think that he had a Rena and Mion moment just there, where he's like super up in their face and has the crazy eyes. My eyes, probably just a trick of the light. Don't waste my time.
I'm not mistaken. I've never seen those kinds of eyes before.
What were those guys talking about? They've all been too scared of me lately.
You are Keiichi Maibara-kun, right?
What was Rena saying? Who else do I look like except Keiichi Maibara? The look I gave her seemed to speak quite eloquently to those irritated thoughts. She understood and quickly apologized.
I'm sorry. Don't worry about it.
Keiichi's voice changed in this moment, and the VA did so good at conveying how different he became. Have we heard Keiichi's voice before? Pretty funny, Rena treating Keiichi like a different person the same way he did with her in chapter 1. True. But I think in chapter 1, it was a bit different because while Rena was probably mad at him or something and actually screamed, I don't think that she completely went crazy. And I think it was Keiichi being hyper aware of her. Who is this person who took the appearance of Rena? Yeah, but in this situation, it's still Keiichi being crazy, right? It's not Rena. So I don't think the situation is completely the same, but I get what you're trying to say. Also, I want to hear Keiichi's voice in both situations for a second so I can get a grasp at the change in voice. I want to hear what you mean. We gotta search for something. This is all not voiced, right? Yeah, his thoughts aren't voiced. I hope I can go back up enough. I cannot. Okay. Yeah, nothing. Okay. Then let's just listen to where he changes.
うるさい、黄色い声で話しかけるな。
The problem is I've never heard him before. Have I? I don't think I have.
なんだよ。当たり前だろ。
So he sounds aggressive. But he didn't become a man. Mion and the others, having to set up for the Watanagashi festival or something, invited me along, but I refused. Of course I did. How could they be taking it easy and setting up for a festival in this situation? Mion had a lot of nerve. Oh, are you gonna kill her too? That's maybe this first thing I did when I got back was take a shower. Not because I wanted to wash off sweat. It was because I wanted to be even calmer. I already understood this, but killing that man would be so very easy. The really hard thing would be not getting arrested for it, so we could get our peaceful days back. As I thought about it, I realized it wasn't easy. You know, the thing is, if you actually killed him now, don't you think that your friends would realize this? Do you think they would want to be friends with a murderer? Because I kind of don't. You know, I'm just saying. There are so many holes in his plan. It's almost funny. Japan's police force have the highest arrest rate in the world. Is that true? I would need to deceitfully pull up the perfect crime. And it couldn't be a half-hearted attempt. Still, it wasn't 100%. Even the best police force in the world couldn't have a 100% arrest rate. I've read a lot of articles on trials with people brought up on false charges. At court, they consider whether the charges are false or not, but figuring out the real crime is entirely out of scope. And what that meant, perfect crimes did exist. In fact, perfect crimes were sort of like works of art. They could even be respected and revered. You just had to look at the inundation of mystery novels everywhere throughout history. They dealt with all sorts of difficult to solve incidents involving secret rooms and alibis and stuff, but they all wanted to show one thing. They wanted to show the beauty of a perfect crime. That's true. Like, a crime itself isn't something you want to aspire to, right? But the puzzle of making up a perfect crime is probably about as satisfying as solving a almost perfect crime. And what are you talking about? That would be very supportive of a murderer? Yeah, I absolutely would. If this wasn't chapter 3 where everyone except for Keiichi is fine in the head. There was something divine. The flawlessness of the word perfect. Yes. Perfect crimes were skills of the gods. And in that sense, the serial freak deaths they were calling the curse of Yashiro-sama. I understood they must have been the works of gods. Each one appeared to have been resolved, but they couldn't stop it from happening every year. Yeah, skills belonging only to gods. Those are perfect crimes. And I would be setting up my own crime before Oyashiro-sama's series of perfect crimes 4 years in a running. If I were to put it boldly, I was challenging a god. Foolhardiness would be needed to make the decision, but I needed to be calm, cool, colder than ice to put that plan together. Kill him like a flame, but as systematic as ice. Hello, Dr. Silver. How are you doing? Starting now, I need to retain both of those ideas within me. Modeling my crime after a mystery novel wasn't actually a bad thing to focus on. Oh, is he gonna... Oh no, don't tell me he's gonna sit down for the night and just read some murder mysteries and then, like, try to combine different aspects of the different murders. That would be so fucking hilarious. Keiichi really be sounding like, I'm 14 and this is tea. He is so emo. I was like that when I was 14. Or more like 12. Yeah, probably. Sometimes, kidnappings involving disturbing original methods that made it into the newspaper were used as a basis for novels after the person was arrested. Stuff like that made it into the news. Day and night, for a very long time, mystery novel authors polished and refined their most fantastic artistic crimes. Imitating that could be a shortcut to planning the perfect crime in a short period of time. He truly wants to do it. Of course, I haven't read enough mystery novels to act all high and mighty about them. The one who really liked mystery novels was my mom. He's not gonna do that, is he? He's not gonna ask his mom for tips on how to kill somebody. This is gonna go over well. Hello, Nochi. I'm back. Rage quit from the Elden Ring DLC. Welcome back. I hope you still had some fun before you rage quit. Wonder where Ryokishi got the inspiration of the serial murders from. I don't want to know. From his twisted mind. She'd read every well-known mystery novel from overseas, from past and present. Every time she watched mystery shows, she would always criticize them as having cheap tricks or being poorly thought out. I wonder what perfect crime would mean to her. Bro, don't fucking ask your mom. What do I think the most well-done perfect crime in all the mystery novels I read is? Yeah, well, you read quite a lot of them, right? I figured you might know a lot about them. It's more fun to read them to find out. If I told you all the tricks right off the bat, that'd be no fun anymore. It wasn't like I was asking for my own amusement. She was deflecting the question, so I would somehow butter her up first and draw out an answer. Of course, well done mystery novels, yeah. They all have a unique charm to them, so it's hard to say which is the most interesting. You'd really have to force me to pick one. I didn't want to know which novels you liked. I wanted to know about the trick that made you the most surprised. Yes, Keiichi, if you ask your mother for that, and then use said trick in your planned murder, I am sure that your mother wouldn't be able to figure out that it was you who murdered a neighbor. This dude is so dumb. Hey mother, how do you murder someone? True. Wish I could afford the DLC right now. I can't either, Dr. Silver. Let us be poor together. Off topic, but should I buy Doom at 80% off? Isn't it on Game Pass? You can probably get Game Pass cheaper than that. If not, then yes, probably. I haven't played the game, but it looks great. Planned out perfect crime not to be caught immediately does something that would trace it back to him. This is so dumb, man. He is the biggest idiot of them all. Okay. If it was really a perfect trick, the detectives wouldn't be able to solve the case, though. That was true. And there'd be no point. Mystery novels are enjoyable because of the process of the mysteries getting solved. If it was unsolvable, it wouldn't make a very good topic for a novel. I get it. Yeah, you're right. The main character can't solve it. Wouldn't be much of a story, huh? Was I being too simplistic? A mystery novel was basically a game. They were written so that you can get to the goal, so that you could solve them. But I couldn't use something so optimistic. It needed to be the be-all, end-all of tricks so that we could, without a doubt, return to our old lives. By the way, Keiichi, do you understand that truly perfect crimes don't even become stories? Mom looked at me intellectually and grinned impishly. I want to see his mom. I never gotten to read it, but apparently one time, a long time ago, Mom had written her own mystery novel and submitted it for some mystery novel award. Oh my god, is he gonna read it and use his mom's made-up murder method? I can't. This is too good. Apparently she was really into it. Don't even become stories. What does that mean? Keiichi, what are the essential parts of a story? A beginning, a middle, and an end? Correct. The beginning, of course, is especially important. If there is no beginning, then the story never starts. Well, yeah. Nothing happened, nothing would begin. Right. Nothing happened, so there wouldn't even be an incident. Detectives wouldn't be called, so there wouldn't be any mystery. There would be no mystery, so there would be no solution. In other words, it would be the ultimate perfect crime. So I've missed the past couple hours, but I'm assuming Keiichi has decided to kill the uncle. Any other things I need to know? Yeah, we heard the craziest soundtrack of all time. They called the child welfare on Sadako's uncle, and Sadako refused them, like basically saying, no, nothing's wrong, go away. I don't want your help. Then she went to school, and they had a pretty normal lunchtime, and Keiichi tried to pet her like he did as her Nini, and then Sadako went haywire, started attacking the fellow students, throwing stuff in the classroom, throwing bentos, throwing tables and chairs around. And Keiichi tried to touch her head again for whatever reason, and it got worse. And at some point, Rena decided to speak up and told Keiichi to, I quote, "Shut the fuck up, you asshole." And then Keiichi cracked and has ascended his human shell, as he has himself said, and has since been in a state of perpetual idiocy, thinking that he can just kill the uncle and get away with it, and now he's trying to make up a plan. This really reminds me of Yandere Simulator. I don't know why. Is that a game? Mystery novel is like a game or something like a visual novel. Doesn't he make, like, actually... isn't his second series, Umineko, isn't that an actual mystery novel? That's a murder mystery, right? This is more of a horror mystery story, but I think that Umineko is a murder mystery, a proper one with a detective character and everything, where your goal is to figure out shit. Maybe I'm wrong. Wait a second. Could you explain that again? My mom just told me something absurd. And she was saying it so smoothly too, so I kind of tuned her out, but she said something extremely important just now. It's not really difficult to understand. The incident just has to never come to light, that's all. Yeah, the perfect crime is a crime that people don't know even happened. Obviously, but how is he gonna do that? Everybody knows the uncle is there. Is he just gonna make up some story like, oh, the uncle left the town again, and yeah, he told nobody, not even Sadako knows, but I know because I'm Keiichi Maebara and I just happened to see him when he left, so I asked him where he's gonna go and he told me. Yeah, Umineko is more of a murder mystery than horror like Higurashi. Yeah, which is why I'm looking forward to Umineko so much, because I think I'm personally gonna like Umineko more because I love murder mysteries. Everybody kind of does, right? Just has to never come to light. For example, how about this? Say there's an old man living deep in a forest nobody goes into. And one day, the old man gets killed by an axe. And let's say the criminal was the old man's son. He went to the old man's house and they were drinking together, but they got into a fight and he killed him. What an extremely cheap plot. This is exactly the same kind of cheap plot you are trying to make into an actual murder. I'm just gonna put that out there. It was an impulsive crime without a bit of planning. It was pretty far from a perfect crime. But Keiichi, the house was really, really deep in this forest. So deep in the mountains that nobody would ever go out that far. Then his son would go back to town and say that the old man was doing fine. What about that as a perfect crime? Keiichi, this incident would only begin when it was found out that the old man was killed. If nobody ever visited the old man's house after that, that beginning would never occur. The beginning would never occur. So basically, the story wouldn't start. The incident wouldn't come to light, and they wouldn't call in detectives, and nobody would be suspicious in the first place, so there'd be no mystery. They'd think the old man was still living by himself deep in the forest, and the old man's face would appear in the sky, and that would be it. Something like that, you know? That's amazing! That's a pretty great trick! But it wouldn't be a novel. Mystery novels are for entertainment, after all. They can't be instruction manuals for perfect crimes. I was trying hard to talk cheerfully to fool her, but inside I was excited. Special tools, strange geography, mysterious drugs, traps involving huge sums of cash. None of them were needed for perfect crimes. The important thing was that there wasn't a beginning. As long as the incident didn't come to light, it would be fine. Speaking broadly,
If I could kill him without anyone finding out and dispose of the corpse somewhere no one could find, it would basically already be a perfect crime. No, it would not, because in the example that your mother just gave you, nobody had any contact to that person. But Sadako's uncle has Sadako and friends, and he lives in the village. I don't think you should copy that idea because it doesn't really like have a lot of touching points with your situation. You know? Yeah, I saw a Steam review of Mineko and read the world's most annoying Redditor argues with an Italian woman for 100 hours. I am intrigued to say the least. I want to read that. You have no idea how much that oversimplification, yet also accurate as fuck. The hell? Can we just skip all of Mineko now, Higurashi now? I want to play Mineko. That sounds... Do I have to do the actually voice for the main character in Mineko? That's gonna be hilarious. Of course, if someone up and vanished one day all of a sudden, people would get suspicious. But that didn't apply to this man. Last year, after their aunt died, he ran away from the village in fear of Oyashiro-sama. When the night of Watanagashi came around again, everyone would have to think that he ran away in fear again. I mean, he had been living with a lover of this town. No matter what it felt like when he was banished, no one would be suspicious. People hated him after all. Sadako would, and maybe his friends too, because apparently he has friends, right? People were over and playing with him. No one would care where he went if he disappeared. When I thought about it like that, it got easier and easier to imagine killing him. There was no point in thinking inside my house anymore. I left, getting my bike out of the garage. Oh, is he already ready? Is he just gonna be like, yep, I'm gonna murder... have dinner ready when I come back, Mom. For now, it didn't matter where it was going. I just rode through the wind, trying to calm my excitement by feeling the cool air on my body. Where I'd kill him, how I'd do it, what time, and how to dispose of the corpse. If I just had those 4 things, I could get a good plan going. I was so surprised at how little there was to decide that I shivered. I'm completely prepared to build this humongous plan over a really long period of time. But if I could just get these little things in order, I could put it into motion. Today was Saturday. I would have to kill him on the night of Watanagashi. So long as I was standing in for Oyashiro-sama, I only had 24 hours remaining. That's more than 1500 seconds. Sadako, just hang on for 24 more hours. Your Nini is gonna save you. Can't even imagine having to suffer through even more, but please hold out for a little longer. I know you can't even last another second. I know that. But please, just hold out. He actually says it! Oh no, come on. Your Nini will save you for sure. Compared to the first 2 chapters, this is the first time Keiichi's making the decision to be the culprit. True. It doesn't make him a better character, though. I'm sorry. Keiichi in the first 2 chapters was the outsider reacting to all the crazy shit. No, he was the one going crazy by reacting to the crazy shit. I don't want to go back and watch the scenes now. I mean, I'm not stopping you. But Dinkler, if you do, remember, your Nini is gonna save you. Sure. The bugs in the BG are so weird. Like, why are they screaming like they're getting skinned alive? Because that's how cicadas or Higurashi, which is the name of the game, sound like. Don't you have these in your country? Like, I mean, like, not the specific kind, but like normal cicadas. We have those. They're annoying as fuck. Like the Sadako scene in the school seems really cool. It was. Outside, it was still early enough for the cicadas to be crying. Early afternoon.
Evening was still a long way off. I looked at the sky. At some point, it had gotten cloudy. Come to think of it, as I left the house, I heard on the TV. The fuck is that music? Oh my god, that is creepy as shit. Holy fuck, this might be the creepiest theme in the game. Why does that sound so cursed? It sounds happy and disturbing at the same time. Dude, this is what it sounds like when a clown is killing you. And in my head canon, this is playing in Keiichi's head right now. He's hearing the BGM. Come to think of it, as I left the house, I heard on the TV that the weather forecast was calling for a chance of rain on Sunday. The sky was the color of lead. If I heard a little bit of thunder, I definitely have expected a sudden evening shower. My first destination was school. Before explaining why I was going there, I needed to explain what method for killing that man I had decided upon. I decided that the most suitable death, the one I needed to give him, the metal bat. Is he gonna grab another baseball bat? He always does that. Sounds happy and disturbing at the same time. Yeah. Like, it sounds like he's taking a stroll, and that's probably what it looks like to outsiders, but he is absolutely mental. Like, this is a situation where Keiichi walks through the town and somebody sees him from behind and they're like, "Hey, Keiichi, what's up?" And he turns around and goes like, nothing. Literally sounds like something out of a kid's cartoon. Dude, if this doesn't sound like a kid's cartoon. Like, seriously. It does not. If that's what kids' cartoons sound like for you, that explains a lot. That's all I'm gonna say. Was the same as last year's curse. Yeah, the bad. Same as the punishment their aunt had received, being beaten to death. Wouldn't beating him to death be somewhat unreliable? Yeah, that's might not be the best idea for a teenage boy to try and beat a grown-ass man to death with a baseball bat. Chances of you not actually even hitting with your first hit and getting turned over are pretty high, and chances of you not being able to kill him are also pretty high. Sounds like a fun Halloween themed kids show episode. You're sick in the head. You might think that stabbing him with a blade would be more reliable, but this was something I had chosen after a lot of thought. You just needed to think realistically. The law prohibited carrying any blades longer than 10 centimeters, I think. So the blades available to me, even the longest ones, were still limited to things shorter than a ruler. You can probably understand how tricky it would be with such a short reach to go up against an opponent that might fight back. In that case, a weapon with more reach, like a staff, would be far more advantageous. It might not be quite as inherently lethal, but since you could just keep hitting the guy until you killed him, the result was the same. So, what's a staff-like deadly weapon, terrifyingly powerful and also eminently portable? A baseball bat. Keiichi should have used the golf club, missed opportunity. True, he should have asked his father as well. Dad, where's your golf club? I just talked to mom about the best way to murder somebody. What do you mean? By this point, you should immediately think of a metal baseball bat. How is that similar to a staff? What did Sadako's uncle do? I'm actually curious. We don't know. She was hurt, like she had bruises So probably domestic violence, and also made her do all sorts of housework and shit while he was just sitting back and laughing at her. So messed up shit, yes, but not something that a teenager should kill you over. Like, that is something that the police should handle and you gotta be locked up, but yeah. Keiichi should do Essence of Door Slam on the uncle. I don't think he has the power for that. I don't even think he has the the power, like, physically to beat him to death. I think the uncle is gonna survive. I think he plans out all of this and he hits the uncle, and maybe he hits his head once and the uncle just runs away. That's what's going to happen. I think this is all build up for nothing. A special or the uncle's just going to pull a gun. Well, we don't know if he's armed, right? Or another kind of weapon. Maybe the uncle is also a yakuza and he's going to pull some sort of Majima knife. Of special note is the fact that you can carry one around in broad daylight and not be thought of as suspicious. Maybe if you actually played baseball. Just those 2 points would have been enough to choose a metal bat for my weapon. But there was one more reason for choosing a metal bat in particular. I will speak about it later. Who is he even talking to? Like, normally we hear his thoughts, right? But this time he's actively talking to somebody. I think he's schizophrenic. Receive and lightly brush you. True. Okay, I'm gonna sit back down again. Oh. Hi. After school that Saturday, my classmates were still having fun playing in the schoolyard. I could show up there and it would be the same as always, so nobody will think I'm suspicious. Getting my hands on the weapon without looking suspicious was actually a factor I couldn't ignore. I didn't normally play baseball, so if I went to a sports store looking for a metal bat, it would definitely be suspicious. I can't let there be a beginning to this story, so I needed to be really careful even about that. That left school. A location at which my appearance wouldn't be suspicious. I would acquire the weapon. I checked inside the classroom through the window, but of course there was nobody there. The only students who would stay in there were me and the others when doing club activities. Without us, the classroom after school was just an empty, unused room. Without glancing around nervously, as if I'd just gone to get something I'd forgotten, I casually went into the entrance. And then, Sensei. Keiichi has a consistent thing of literally talking to himself. I mean, he's like he's having a conversation with his consciousness. The thing is, I'm not sure if this is just the writer making it easy to grasp his inner thoughts, or if it's actually supposed to mean that in any scenario, even before he goes crazy, Keiichi is already mentally ill. Looked like the teacher was busy with paperwork in the teacher's lounge. I didn't see her in the hallway. Naturally, yet quickly as a shadow, I entered the classroom. It'd be so funny if the principal sees him. The empty room was full of a strange, stagnant air that you couldn't feel normally. An empty classroom with nobody here. Maybe while no one was around, the desks creep about of their own accord, licking the floors clean of dirt. What the fuck? If I suddenly stepped into a place like that, would the desks, in their surprise, fly at me, crush my bones, and eat me alive? That's ridiculous. I felt regretted wasting valuable thinking time on stupid delusions. Everything you think about is a delusion. The students' lockers were lined up in the back of the classroom. The one I was looking for wasn't my own. It was a forbidden locker, one I had accidentally discovered one day. Here it is. Hojo. This has to be it. One person has one locker, then why would only Sadako have two? I'd made a fuss about it once. After that, I learned it was Sadoshi's locker, and he had the same last name as her. But of course, even though it was a locker for a student no longer here, looking inside it was still a shameless act. But one time, I let my curiosity get the better of me and took a peek inside. Inside, it was average and worthless. At the time, I hadn't been interested, so until now, I'd forgotten what had been in it. But now that I had, I dare say it, awakened, I remembered the thing that had been there. I mean, I talk to myself and I'm not mentally ill. Like, thinking to yourself and thinking in your head like you're having an actual conversation are two different things. Keiichi has an active imagination. Keiichi has a screw loose. Yes. Scrape. I opened the locker and a stench of mold and sweat wafted out like a gym storehouse that hadn't been cleaned in weeks. My face puckered up at the stench, but I looked for it. Yes. Satoshi was on Coach's baseball team. Why is the Oyashiro-sama bell clinging? Is this foreshadowing or something? That by picking up the baseball bat, he becomes cursed by Oyashiro-sama or something? Inside the locker was a Hinamizawa fighter's uniform. And it. The one Satoshi used. The metal bat. Or maybe Rika is watching him from a corner in the classroom and we're going to turn around and she's going to attack us. Yes. This was the reason I wanted to choose this bat. This murder would be carried out by me, but this wasn't originally my role. It was Satoshi's. I would stand in for him and call myself Sadako's Nini. It was one of the rules for standing in for him. I reached for the metal bat and grasped it firmly. It was light, and yet its tip had enough heft in it, enough to easily imagine the horror if I brought it down with all my might. Satoshi, I'll give you one last chance to save your sister. Lend me your strength. You're a coward, but I will stand in for you. So if you still care, even a little bit about her, you will lend me your strength. There is no more suitable weapon in the world for putting that man to death than your bat. Now, I just needed to figure out where to hide it. Tomorrow, before the act, I would just stop by the school and grab it, because I couldn't ignore the possibility someone would see me bringing it home and think it was strange. But if I left it here, there wouldn't be a problem. Plus, tomorrow was Sunday. Not only that, it was the day of the biggest festival in the whole village. Nobody would be coming to school. Suddenly, Rika. I left out the entrance and went over to a construction vehicle parked nearby. We'd been warned by our teacher not to touch it just for laughs, so none of the kids would come near the vehicle either. They wouldn't, because if she found out they touched it, they'd be in huge trouble. I quietly hid it in the shadow of the vehicle. The chances of someone operating the vehicle tomorrow were slim to none, because tomorrow was Sunday. Government workers had the day off. And from what my classmates had said, the thing had been left here for years now. Machines that haven't been moved in years, you can't just suddenly start them up again. So I was almost definitely fine in this case. The sunlight was piercingly hot. My head grew faint for a moment. Had the heat been this harsh for the entire day? A moment of dull thoughts like this was a moment of carelessness. I gave myself a couple hits in the head, then looked around warily. Okay, next, how to dispose of the corpse. Imagine if somebody actually saw him putting a baseball bat there and hitting himself in the head. People must think he's absolutely batshit insane. Disposing of the corpse. The ultimate way not to create a beginning was to not let the corpse be found. It wasn't even important. It was even more important than killing him. What is that? Oh, he's gonna throw the corpse into the swamp? Thinking on it vaguely, the first thing that came to mind was the swamp. You know, now that I think about it, I think that Oyashiro-sama's curse is a series of events that was not premeditated by a singular entity. I think that every year something happens that drives one villager to want to kill another. And they use the excuse of a curse to cover their tracks, just like just like Keiichi is doing now. But they always underestimate killing somebody and something goes wrong. Like, for example, I can imagine that Sadako's uh, parents, one of them tried to kill the other, but accidentally fell down with them. You know, stuff like that. Uh, the head priest was probably killed by his wife in a fight or something, and because she's so heavily religious, she killed herself by drowning herself in the swamp. Stuff like that. So I think it's just happening not completely randomly, but I don't think it's like what we're currently being led to believe, that there's one person or family in the village that decides who gets murdered and covers it up. That just sounds too easy as an explanation. Gotta go to bed now. Have a good stream. Sleep tight, Ruben. Thank you for being here. I hope you had a good time. Follow up my previous message. I mainly do it as a way to get to sleep. I mean, if it helps you, then sure. Onigafuchi, the dreadful, bottomless swamp revered even now, that appeared in the legends of Onigafuchi village. Yes, the swamp called Onigafuchi was here first, and then the village took its name to become Onigafuchi village. In other words, the swamp was the origin of Onigafuchi village. No one, no matter who it was, would float back to the surface of this bottomless swamp. Everyone would be swallowed down into the land of the demons below the earth. That was how the stories went. If I was trying to copy Oyashiro-sama's curse, then I felt that theory demanded I discard the remains and the weapon into the swamp. But they may have said it's bottomless, but I didn't actually know. And people say large creatures like humans produce a lot of gas when they rot, granting a lot of buoyancy. Yeah, but if wasn't it, if that was true, I think the police would have caught on to that. What if he eats the corpse? No one would find it. That is such a good idea. And I'm also very worried for your mental health. Please don't ever think to murder somebody. You would be very good at that. I'm afraid. It was why using fairly heavy objects to hold people down didn't work. It was giving me Grisaya flashbacks in a bad way. Only that there they didn't have to cover shit up because they were alone in the woods anyways, right? Come to think of it, with the curse the year before last, Rika-chan's mother drowned herself in this swamp, and the criminal behind the dismemberment that went missing the year of the first curse too. It was rumored he tried to discard the body in the swamp and accidentally drowned in it. I never heard of the corpse coming back up or them finding it. Then, shouldn't I choose to discard the corpse there too? I could discard the weapon there. And then, for example, if her uncle came out on a motorcycle and attacked, it would be convenient to get rid of the bike too. I knew that Sadako's uncle generally used the motorcycle for transportation, but as for the corpse? After a lot of worrying, I decided not to discard the corpse in the swamp. The drowning, suicides, and accidents were both rumors. Nobody knew if they'd actually happened. There were no lack of false rumors about the drowning suicide anyway, and it was possible the murderer hadn't drowned there and was still on the run. That meant no one had ever confirmed the corpse being dropped in there and them not coming back up. Then what would I do with the body? Yeah, what will you do with the body? What are you gonna do? You're gonna bury it in the forest? I mean, eating the corpse is also free for... Okay, now it's getting creepy, bro. E. I haven't seen that meme in a while. E. I thought it might be interesting to go with the first incident, cut him to... Interesting. I thought it might be interesting to go with the first incident, cut him to pieces, and hide him. But the preparation and work for dismembering a human body would be difficult given the amount of time I had. Interesting. With that out of the question, I arrived at the conclusion to go with the more orthodox method of burying the body. Oh, he's actually going to do that. You're aware that this is like the easiest way to get found out. You're worried about a corpse developing so much buoyancy that it comes back up from a swamp. But you're not worried that somebody might find the hole you buried the body in? Or that it starts to reek because you can't preserve it and affects the fauna and shit and somebody finds it that way? The E chain. Yeah, we got a 3-hit combo there. Then where would I bury it was a question related to where I would kill him. Of course, I wanted to keep my time and proximity to the body at a minimum. With that in mind, I would want to dig the hole to dump the body in beforehand, and to make the location of the act and the hole close together. The choice of where to plan the crime, that I needed to be absolutely careful and thorough with. It had to be somewhere nobody would witness it, and a place where with hiding places for a sneak attack. I could dig a hole for the body right there. I go over the possibilities in my head of the various destinations her uncle would head from Sadako's house. I imagined a map of the area in my head, and then I found a place that fulfilled those conditions so easily, it was almost unbelievable. A bit of a back road that went through the woods. I didn't think her uncle would go deeper into the mountains of Yaguchi on a whim. If he was going somewhere, he'd pass through these woods first. And nobody used this back way unless they had something to do at Sadako's house or 1 or 2 other places. This plan was fantastically ideal, as few people used it. Yeah, but how do you make him use it? I would wait for him in these woods. Would an ambush actually be possible? So now he wants to hit somebody off of his motorcycle while they're driving past him. This chance gets less and less this plan gets less and less chances of success the longer he makes it. I went into the trees and tried really hiding myself in a few places. What if he chops the body and puts it into a grinder? I don't think he has a grinder that could do that, like piece by piece. That takes too long. He only has like 1 night. And also his parents are probably going to be home, right? He can't do it at home. And if he's too long gone, his parents are going to be worried. Because it's not like Keiichi is a stud and they think, oh my god, he's banging a chick tonight. What about burning the corpse? I think that Isn't that what happened to Takano in the second game? She was burned in the forest? What if he digs up dirt on the uncle and blackmails him into leaving Sadako? He can't think that far. It was extremely quiet. My senses could be sharpened here to their maximum amount. I didn't know when he'd come, but I'd wait right here for Sadako's uncle. I actually had some trouble coming to that decision. The question arose of whether I should somehow call the man out. Might be a good idea because otherwise he probably won't be coming, you know? Was there a risk I'd be taking by luring him here? That man made Sadako do all the shopping and errands. He seldom left on his own business. He wouldn't leave unless I worked out a plan to force him to, would he? I don't know, an abusive dickhead like that surely would have secrets that he didn't want getting out yet, but how is a 15-year-old kid gonna find out about those? Wouldn't the smoke alert people if he tried to burn the body? Yeah, it did. In chapter 2. People found the body because of the smoke. Keiichi made use of his connections within the village. What connections? He's a newcomer. And Mion refused to help him. Oh, you weren't there for that. Tomorrow was the Watanagashi festival. Would he go out for the festival or would he stay inside? If he stayed inside, how would I drag him out of his house? That's right. Wouldn't he make Sadako go to the festival? Sadako would go to the festival. Meanwhile, I would call the man. This is the Okinomiya police station. We have the young lady from your house. Could you come and pick her up immediately? Didn't even have to be the police. This is the clinic. The young lady from your house has been injured. Please come and pick her up. Yes, that would work too. If I claimed to be the police at the hospital, told him to come, and then hung up on him, he'd rush there trying to figure out what's going on, wouldn't he? And just the other day, he was visited by a probation officer. He wouldn't suddenly grumble about having to get his knees and not go. It would look like child neglect. The man had no skills useful around the house. Sadako, his slave, was an essential part of his daily life. Conclusion. If he went out to the festival, I would attack him here, on his way there, or back. If he didn't, I would lure him out by phone. If luring him out by phone was my first step, I needed to be sure Sadako would go to the festival leaving the house. It would be convenient if I could make Mion take Sadako to the festival. She said her aunt was a district welfare officer. In other words, an ally to the probation officer. If I somehow incited Mion to take Sadako to the festival with her, well, being who she was, she'd use that fact to get her there. Sadako should just take a break and have fun at the festival with everyone. She should have a good time, reminisce on our former peaceful days, and when she went home, everything would be over. Yeah, that would be the best outcome. Maybe even call Oishi to help. That's what I said. I said that like 2 hours ago. I don't understand why he's not going to Oishi. Because I don't think he was trying to do something to Sadako when he was looking to go to her. I think he was trying to help. I wonder where Prison Beak from the Duck Simulator stream is at right now. Out of context, just wondered for some reason. I have no idea. That is a very random thought, but I can't answer that. I'm sorry. With that decided, I needed to dig a hole somewhere in the woods to hide the body, so it wouldn't stand out, so it wouldn't be found. Someplace nobody would see me while I was completely exposed as I buried the corpse. I had wanted it to be close to the scene of the crime, but it naturally grew farther away. Deep in the bosom of the Black Forest, the voices of the Higurashi were the only sounds here, informing me that people shouldn't indiscreetly set foot in this place. Digging a hole, huh? Digging a hole with so many tree roots crawling around the ground would be far more difficult than I'd envisioned. I snuck a gardening spade out here in my bag, but that wouldn't be enough. Still, as I looked into various approaches, I managed to find a place I could dig into. Tomorrow, I'd bring a real shovel from the storeroom at home. I'd manage with that. I wondered how big a hole would have to be to fit a human all the way into it. I'd probably have to dig pretty deep down. But if I was slipshod in these efforts, I'd let a beginning occur. I absolutely couldn't allow that.
Use any amount of time you need to. I mustn't spare any effort to utterly erase him. I glanced at my wristwatch. It was a little past 6. This was probably all I was going to get done here for the day. I really wanted to dig the hole in the bench tonight, even if it got dark out, but Mom would be upset if I stayed out late. It wouldn't be good to come off as suspicious to my parents. Might be too late for that. Imagine if he's still just in the ocean floating. Man, we gotta check back on him. Considering Oishi's ulterior motive, Keiichi and him could totally make some kind of deal. True. I needed to go back home and give Mion a call soon. I needed to get her to promise Sadako to take her by tonight. I needed to get her to promise Sadako to take her by tonight. Oh, this is 2 different sentences in one. I needed to get her to promise by tonight. Sadako to take her. This is after that, today would be done. Done. Would it be though? Was this really everything I could do to prepare right now? I decided where to kill him. I decided how to kill him. I decided, of course, how to dispose of the body. I didn't decide on the time, but I would play that by ear. I didn't have a way to decide that. Was that really all? Was this really all right? Have I overlooked something? Would this really go how I planned? Oh. After all this, worries started welling up one after another. It was only natural I'd be anxious. This would be the first and last big job of my lifetime. I could not allow failure, and I had no experience as this was my first time. I didn't have the know-how, the knack, so it was only natural I'd be anxious. The dark clouds of unease told me doing nothing would be the easiest way. A truly pathetic suggestion this late in the game. Have you forgotten how miserable Sadako looked? From the outside, it may have looked like I was resolute, but deep in my heart, my knees were shaking loudly. I've never actually won a single fight to my satisfaction. Could I really kill someone? Oh, finally. Okay. Okay. It would be shocking if this plan actually worked. Yeah, I don't think it will. I may have been planning an ambush, but my enemy was large and far older than me. He had a scary face, and he looked like he was well accustomed to fighting. But I have all the pieces before and after the murder were perfectly planned. But was the actual murder the most important part? What unsettled me the most? All my preparations, all of my perfectly concealed machinations. I didn't successfully murder him. They amounted to nothing. Stage 1 denial. This is stage 15 denial. Damn it. After going this far, you're perfect, Keiichi Maebara. If you start to have these kinds of second thoughts, your ulterior motive will be obvious. Let's go home. Go home and calm your mind. Tomorrow will be a juncture in your life, the likes of which graduation, employment, marriage, and childbirth couldn't hold a candle to. You're not doing the childbirth thing in your life, bro. I'm sorry, but a day of murder to kill someone for someone else's sake. With that day behind us, we would take it back again. Those mild, spring-like days we never thought would stop. Those safe, peaceful, fun times. I pedaled my bicycle hard to get back home. I felt somehow unsteady, like my body and soul weren't in alignment. A subtle shift between where the tips of my hands and feet really were and where I felt them to be. My vision was a little distant and narrow, as if the great barrier I risked my future life on had nothing to do with me. An unreal sensation. How could I put it? Everything was so far away. Fine. Feel your unease permeate you, Keiichi Maebara. If that will turn your timidity into meticulousness and allow you to act with greater caution, then it's actually an important emotion to feel. This feeling I had never went away that night.
Are we skipping ahead to the night to the next morning already? Oh, he's gonna call me on. Okay, we're gonna take another little break here because I gotta go to the toilet again, and I gotta fill up on water because it's hot as shit. I'll be gone for like 2 minutes. See you soon. What is good, everyone? I've got a little visitor. Yeah, Kiriko. You're being blocked by the mic. There we go. Honey, what is going on? Yes. You okay? She was outside screaming. Now what? Now what are we gonna do? You gonna help us plan a murder? You'd like that, wouldn't you? Little psychopath. Come on, people can't see you if you're that. Hello. Yes. Little cutie. She's a cable murderer. Not lately, actually. She's been calming down a lot for her standards. She's been a lot calmer. Like, look at that. Before, she wouldn't have let me take her on my arms like that and just endure it. Yeah, we're talking about you. You okay? Okay, now you okay? You want to leave? Okay, I get it. That's fine. That's totally cool with me. Uh, don't please don't bite. No, don't bite the monitor. Don't do that. I just said you were no. Hello? I'm the evil cat. Yeah, I'm the evil cat. What now? What are we doing now, huh? Don't be the evil cat. Can't do anything when you're in air jail. Yeah, that's what happens. All right. Let's go on. Don't drink my water. You got your own. That's mine. I'm not sharing. We should put her in jail, the cat jail, for cuteness, right? Can you not? I just said you were a good kitty, and now you're starting to chew cables again. Asshole. It was the first time I'd be calling Mion's house. I searched for her in the phone book the school gave me, then dialed a short phone number, the kind unique to remote places. It was around dinner time. She would probably be home. But just as I started to think nobody would respond, someone finally picked up the receiver. Kiriko. Not cool. Hello, this is Sanazake. Oh, I'm sorry for calling so late at night. Is this Mion? Huh? May I ask who's calling? It's me, Keiichi. Ah, okay, Chan. It's pretty late. What's up? She seemed to be in a weirdly good mood, and she drew her syllables out. I think she's drunk. Is she drunk? Right, it's the night before tomorrow's festival, so she's probably with her family having some drinks. We're 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 getting over right there, right now. We're fuck the murder, fuck Sadako. If I can have drunk Mion and maybe even Shion's there. Uh huh. Yeah, yeah. Come on, man. Be a man. Sorry for the late call. Do you have time right now? Sure. What is it? It's about Sadako. Oh, dude, don't do that. I heard her draw in a small breath on the other end. Sadako. She's in a pretty bad spot. I hope she's okay. The scent of sake had completely disappeared from her voice. Wait, are they not in high school? Isn't it illegal to drink at that age? It's like with the murder. Nobody knows that's gonna report it. It's not a problem. Can you not stick your face into my glass? My water. She can't be okay. You saw too, didn't you? What she was like. She was completely worn out from all the abuse. We failed her all this time, and now she's become like that. We didn't fail her. Everyone tried their hardest to help her, but we didn't come up with anything, and we couldn't save her. In the end, we couldn't do anything about it, and now she's become like that. I guess you're right. All I did was watch, after all. So, well, at least. Can we at least let her have fun for one night? What are you doing, Kiriko? Why are you so hyped? Let her have fun. She's been so battered lately, you understand? That's why I want you to take her to the Watanagashi festival tomorrow. Okay, Keiichi, are you not aware that by asking that and then not showing up, like, she's gonna wonder why you're not doing that yourself? And she's probably gonna ask you right now. I don't mind, but why? Why? I want to give her a breather at least for the festival night, you know? Even if it's just one night, if she can get away from her evil uncle, then I think she'll be happy, even if it's only for a little while. Yes, but why? Why? Why what? I was having a little difficulty understanding what Mion was asking me. Why? Well, I mean, why don't you bring her, Kei-chan? Why do you need me to?
And why do you need to ask me to do it? Mion was persistent about odd things. No, maybe it'd be better to say that she was sharp. Well, actually, I have to, something to do tomorrow. I can't make it to the festival. So I wanted you to take Sadako there for me. Something to do. It's nothing major. I'll probably finish quickly, but I might not be able to meet up with you all tomorrow. She totally knows what's going on, right? Hey, Mion. Could I leave Sadako to you just for tomorrow night? Mion took a long time to give a reply. I got the feeling that Mion had been acting weird for a while now. Like she was flustered by emotions or something. Yes, maybe because she understands what you're about to do and isn't sure what she should be doing in response because you've already asked her to kill the uncle for you, right? She knows you're trying to get him dead. Oh yes, mastermind criminal Keiichi has gone away again. Okay, Kiriko, stop it. Okay. Now, oh no, he's making her cry again. Oh, was that a sob? Mion crying? Kiriko, what are you doing? Are you crying? I I said no. I don't want to. I don't want you to push this onto someone like me. I'm not trying to push anything onto you. It's just for tomorrow night. That was a lie. Kiriko. Okay. You're leaving right now. See that? Say goodbye. So, Jay, can you please never say the thing about munching cables again? Because she actually started to do it again. Can't wait till he gets caught. It's going to be so satisfying. I can't wait for his inner monologue being like, oh my god, where did it all go wrong? What could I have done to not end up in this situation? That was a lie. What? Mion, what was she talking about? Saying it's just for the night of Watanagashi, and then it was forever. Liar. But I guess we're even, huh? I couldn't keep the promise I made with you. I left her alone. Alone. All this time. I had no idea what to say to that. Mion was clearly now talking to someone other than me. I didn't know who. All I could do was listen to her in a daze. You never came back after that, and now you called me again to push her onto me. Oh, is she... Wait. Oh, God. This is a repeat. The same thing happened before with Satoshi. 100%. Satoshi probably did the exact same thing as Keiichi did. And killed the aunt. And then disappeared. And now she's afraid that Keiichi's gonna do the exact same thing as well. You're so unfair. Hey, you're Satoshi-kun, aren't you? Mion, what are you talking about? When I said her name, whatever spell was on Mion was released. Ah. I'm sorry. It's nothing. It's just that I got a phone call a lot like the one you're making now a long time ago. Was it from Satoshi? Mion didn't answer. All I could hear were sobs coming through the receiver. He says, sorry, I think I'm still a little tipsy. I got all weirdly emotional. Sorry, I probably scared you. I had no idea how it happened. But I was pretty sure that last year, on this very day, Satoshi had called Mion and told her to bring Sadako to the festival. And when she asked why he needed her to do it, he replied the same way I just did. Satoshi didn't go to the festival, did he? Yeah. He said he had something to do and couldn't make it, and he told me to take Sadako there in his place. At the time, Satoshi said it too, didn't he? That he'd leave Sadako to you? Yeah, he did. Just for tomorrow night. The way you said it was just like how he did. I just got a little upset, caught up in the memory and all. I didn't expect this. Satoshi had given her the exact same phone call 1 year ago today. After that, Mion had said more. That he was lying. That he told her it would be only for tonight, the night of the festival. I get it. A few days later, Satoshi, he disappeared. Disappeared might have been a rather vague way to put it. Whether he ran away or not, Satoshi left, abandoning Sadako. Yes, he didn't transfer or run away from home. He disappeared. And then an idea far more indistinct than even fog crossed my mind. Satoshi made exactly the same phone call as me last year. Why would Satoshi make the exact same call? If, in the truest sense, he really made the exact same phone call as I am right now, then the incident where their aunt was beaten to death, that's, could it? Was Satoshi. Huh? What was that? Last year, Sadako had been constantly abused by her uncle's wife, their aunt, too. Her aunt abused her the most, and on that night, in the name of a Yashiro-sama's curse, she was taken from this world. If I thought about that, everything made perfect sense, didn't it? Last year, Sadako's aunt was beaten to death, wasn't she? Would it be impossible for Satoshi to have... No, but that would mean... But then, Satoshi, he was a coward who abandoned Sadako and ran away, wasn't he? How could Satoshi resolve himself to kill a person to save Sadako? It was unthinkable. I I actually consider that as well. Though it'd be mean to Satoshi. A few days later, he disappeared on Sadako's birthday. When I first heard it, I flew into a rage. What a cruel day to have run away on. But now that I thought about it like this, the story changed completely. Satoshi had probably been even less calm than I was now. He was her big brother, related by blood, watching his little sister be abused day in and day out. Maybe that's why he couldn't keep calm. That's a cool shot. And that's why the corpse of their aunt, beaten to death, was so easily discovered. Satoshi lost himself in his anger and hadn't hidden the corpse. He'd permitted a beginning to occur. If the police conducted a full-blown investigation, it was easy to imagine they wouldn't take long to pin down Satoshi as the culprit. Satoshi, he wished for a return to peaceful days with Sadako, and though he achieved it for a time, he had been steadily driven into a corner. And then, he wanted to at least hold out until Sadako's birthday, but finally, they nailed him. At the time, Satoshi had been carrying the savings he'd amassed to buy Sadako a giant stuffed animal for a birthday present. He would buy the stuffed animal as her gift and then get caught. Or he could use the money and disappear. That was the choice he had been forced to make. And he decided
not to make Sadako the sister of a murderer. I told you guys from the beginning that Sadako didn't just run away. Satoshi. If that was the case, then it must have been an unspeakably bitter decision. All that money he'd saved, wanting to see Sadako happy, he had to use it to make her sad. And he used the savings and disappeared to Tokyo if the rumors were true. Yeah, but couldn't the police, like, track that? Can't be that hard, right? Like, I get it, following a kid is shit, but, like, this is still a murder case. Was that how Satoshi disappeared? I don't know. That Oishi guy seems to think that way, though. Oishi? Had he been slowly driven into a corner by that repulsive man's pig-headed pursuit? The circumstantial evidence is all there, but I think your deduction is wrong. They caught some lowlife somewhere in the prefecture, and he apparently turned himself in for the crime. Well, that's not convincing, though, is it? I was right. The deviant had confessed, and the incident was solved. They said he really was just a crazy person, and that he had no ties to Hinamizawa, and no relationship with Satoshi, of course. I mean, I have a pretty hard time believing the guy would lie in Satoshi's place. You couldn't just arbitrarily decide like that. You never know where or how humans are tied together. If that guy took the blame, then it was the perfect crime. Of course, if it really was a perfect crime, there would have been no reason for Satoshi to vanish. Plus, I don't think Satoshi had the kind of money to run away. That day, he withdrew all his savings. No matter who I tell this to, nobody believes me, but that stuffed animal he said he was buying for Sadako? It was gone from the display, sold. It must have been Satoshi. Wait a minute. If he didn't use the money to flee and bought the stuffed animal instead, he would have gone back to Sadako, wouldn't he? Seems unbelievable he'd buy it and then disappear without having given it to her. Wait, what if he's not gone? Like, what if he's still there? Okay, imagine the following. Satoshi kills the aunt. Obviously, the uncle knows what's going on. Satoshi gets the stuffed animal and goes back home for Sadako's birthday. But he gets, which would lead him along that mountain path, right? That forest path. So he gets ambushed by the uncle and killed and buried in the same place that Keiichi is trying to do it to the uncle. So the uncle, before, had already committed Keiichi's perfect crime. Imagine if that's true. Am I leaning too far? I feel like I'm not having a bad idea here. I've never thought of that, not gonna lie. Like, what if Keiichi digs up his hole and happens across Satoshi's corpse? That might happen. Yeah, I think so. That would be a good twist. Yeah. So now I don't know what happened.
It would be one thing if he had the money, but if he used all his savings on it, he'd be totally broke. You can't live a life on the run without money in this world. I didn't get it. After all that, I was understanding Satoshi less and less. The two of us fell silent. I couldn't remember how we even got on this topic. Sorry, I think we got off topic. Sadako, right? Don't worry. I actually already invited her. Huh? You serious? When everyone went to the shrine to prepare for the festival, we started talking about getting Sadako to the festival itself. So then I used the phone at the assembly hall to invite her. Her uncle was acting distant and didn't seem to care at all, but in any case, we got the okay from him. We decided to all meet up and go together tomorrow. You okay with that, Satoshi? Look, Mion, you know what he's about to do, right? Why are you acting all cute with him? Stupid, I'm not Satoshi. I was a little relieved. I hadn't needed to make a phone call. Sadako had already been invited to the festival. And not in a way that smelled of blood, a way to leave her uncle alone to create time for me to kill him. They purely wanted Sadako to enjoy herself, so they invited her. In the end, it was the same, but I was happy for that slight difference. Sorry, I guess I didn't need to call then. First yesterday, now today, sorry for saying such weird things. Just forget about it. No, I'm the one who should apologize. Losing it like that isn't like me. I'm really sorry. We apologized to each other for a little bit. Alright, I'll be going now. Good night. What did you have to do? As if interrupting our parting words, Mion struck straight where it hurt. Or is it like with Satoshi, what you can't say? Stupid. Keep telling you, I'm not Satoshi. Yeah, I know that. I deflected her with a response that wasn't really an answer. Mion didn't hound me anymore after that. Alright, this time for real. Good night. I don't know why you're giving me the same phone call as Satoshi-kun did, but yeah, never mind. I'm sorry. Good night. I'm hanging up. That was a interesting phone call. Because I've been suspecting that for a while. I mean, everybody probably has, right? It's not that hard of a mental jump to make to think that Satoshi had something to do with the murder. Uh, but the possibility of him not having skipped town because apparently the stuffed animal actually got sold. That leaves, like, let's say this isn't just some red herring and trying to throw us off by saying, oh, it got sold, but it wasn't actually Satoshi that bought it. Let's say Satoshi actually bought the thing. So what options does it leave us with? He could have what I said might have happened, and he's dead. He got killed by the uncle. He got killed by the curse, or for some reason he vanished. Otherwise, like maybe Oishi did something, or the Yakuza did something, but then Mion would know, right? Or theory number 2, what if Satoshi is still alive and in the village and just hiding? What if Satoshi has been hiding for a whole year, trying to murder the uncle? In the second year, to make both of them
disappear through the curse. And at the night of this year's festival, Satoshi will just turn up and be like, "Hey, Keiichi, I'm doing the same thing as you, bro. Let's do it together." Satoshi Hojo, just who are you? I scorned you as a coward who ran away, abandoning his sister. I always thought you didn't have the right to call yourself her Nini, but now I didn't know what to think. Oyashiro-sama's curse on the 4th year, their aunt's death, and Satoshi's disappearance, and now me trying to carry out Oyashiro-sama's curse on the 5th. Oddly enough, what I was going to do overlapped perfectly with Satoshi the day before the curse. No, that wasn't all. If we start back from Sadako being abused, then I'd been overlapping with Satoshi for days already. When I talked to Mion before, she asked me if I was Satoshi. If that was the first impression a third party like Mion got, then it was probably true. Then, as Satoshi had accomplished, I would succeed in the murder. But that was the extent to which we overlapped. I was far calmer than Satoshi and more calculating. I could actually grow calmer the more enthusiastic I became. That's why I wouldn't follow in Satoshi's footsteps. I would snip him cleanly out of the world and then get our peaceful life back. Maybe Satoshi has been with me ever since I chose to use Satoshi's bat as my weapon. No, maybe even longer than that. When I decided I'd be her Nini. Maybe Satoshi had been residing within me then too. Satoshi, were you really a coward? Or are you a true Nini, even now? The kind worthy of Sadako's love? I'd never met him, never spoken to him, didn't even know his face. And yet I felt so connected to him. I'd never felt that way before. Alright. It feels like the chapters are getting way shorter. Like, we got through 3 chapters already today. The first ones were a lot longer, weren't they? But I think this is a pretty good place to stop. Because I feel like we're getting towards the end of the game. And I don't want to have like a 2-hour stream or less next week for this game. So I think stopping now and making next stream a bit longer is probably a good idea. Something I have to say about next week, though. I have a pretty important appointment on Wednesday, 1 hour before our usual starting time. So 11 a.m. for me. And I am almost 100% sure I won't make it back in time. So we got 3 options now, and I'll put up a poll on the Discord. So you guys can choose on what would suit you best. On whether to stream later on the same day, like just delay the time for like 2 hours or something. Which I know would be pretty late for some people, and I don't want that to happen. Or do either Tuesday or Thursday instead of Wednesday for Elden Ring next week. And I'll put up the poll tonight and let it run until like Monday night or something. So like 3 days. That should be enough for most of the people to give their vote. Maybe I'll also put it on YouTube because I know not everybody's on Discord. Yeah, I'll do that. Make a community poll. And then I'll decide on Monday night what we're going to do so you guys actually know what's going to happen. But yeah, I just wanted to say that so you guys are aware of next week having a bit of a different schedule. I don't want to cancel the stream over something like that, but we'll have to figure out a different timing. Anyways, that was fun. Story is moving forward a lot. I still don't like Keiichi because he's still kind of a dumbass. Just a dumbass with a goal now. Not really a plan because it's not going to work out. But I'm excited to see how this turns out because I don't think it's just going to be like, oh, his plan failed and he's now dead. I don't think it's going to just be that. We had way too much build-up with Sadako that I don't think they're going to just leave it in the dust. So there's going to be something else that happens. It hasn't been the case that only one person dies, right? So I think this is going to turn out to be more than just the uncle. Something's going to happen, and I'm excited to see. But that's for next Friday. Yeah. Thank you for hanging out today. I hope you had a good time. And I hope I can see you on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, depending on what the poll the poll result will be. But we'll talk about that in said poll. Until then, have a good weekend. Have a good night, a good day. Do something fun. Play some games. I don't know. Whatever you want. See you next week.